And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
JJ, Jeff, you want to kick this thing off? Because I'm still trying to process everything here.
Yeah, it's like,
who wants to go first?
Well,
Come on in. It's open mic night with your host.
you could maybe say there's really 4 topics, but it's split into 6.
The Renegade, JJ Williams.
The Sammy and Eddie Kingston thing, which one's the better smelling turd?
And his panel of co-hosts.
I am founder. Well, call me that for today since we're going with the Jeff Jarrett love theme here this week, according to JJ.
The West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham.
Karma is karma is karma.
That's professional wrestling! Damn it!
The Simple Man, Noah Foster.
It's showtime! Yeah! How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Jeff?
James.
Yeah.
And the He-Man, James Hebert.
Imagine Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Paul White, the Baldies. There you go. It's Cells
God.
Get in there.
Short his ass and shit the bed.
He's not Amber Heard.
Give it time, JJ. Give it time.
Now, I'm sure Jeff has some stuff that
Dumb move. Just don't pull this bullshit again. You get one.
Tony needs to stop caring about the ratings.
Bradshaw said as long as the ads are in place, we're not going to lose that third hour.
Ring of Honor does not have to be AEW Live. They don't necessarily have to coexist with each other. We kind of saw that tonight to a degree.
Along with a panel of guests.
He is no longer glorious. Don't you bring that up. You want me to rant about what my NXT used to... No, we are done here for the night. I swear, James.
Because you never know who may show up for open mic night.
I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives.
The first thing that came to my mind was, it's about damn time.
Amen.
I literally touched everybody in the state's trash. So it's horrible, you guys.
Peyton's new thing is Dennis the Menace, but it's funny because she calls it Dentist the Medicine. And
that's great.
When Elliot Taylor came out and did Born for Greatness live, I was popping my pussy, having a great time. I didn't care. I was having so much fun.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Fuck Bill Belichick.
Football thing. We get it on wrestling, and then you bring in that shit. That's just how the fan goes off the damn rails. Brilliant, bloody brilliant.
We're here.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Open Mic Night. Normally the Saturday night shenanigans, today the Sunday brunch shenanigans, if you will. I am, of course, your host and moderator, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. How is it going today, everybody? Thank you for tuning in and joining us here on this Saturday afternoon. I'm going to begin to bring in the panel of regulars. We are missing a couple people because of it being on this different day, if you will. The Simple Man Noah Foster is not here. He's got church obligations. Definitely can't begrudge him that. But the man whose name is always on the marquee is still here. Jeff Meacham in the house.
Hey, how we doing, everybody, on this Sunday? We using naughty words on a Sunday during that opening. We need to pray for forgiveness. My goodness, people be popping pussies and having all kinds of stuff going on. It's just barely noon o'clock here, for crying out loud.
And then of course we have the reliable one in the house. Walter is here.
How's it going? Oh, Jeff, I was about to get into the DX with you. Be like, watch your fucking mouth.
Oh, fuck me. Damn it.
Safet is in the chat room. Nathan is in the chat room. Safet says the intro gets me every time.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Matthew's here, said, did you guys enjoy Deadline? I see Punk still making Dirt Sheet's head spin because he's being nice backstage and having fun. I did indeed enjoy Deadline.
I did too.
Deadline was an awesome show. Noah and Attila have been preaching all year that people need to stop sleeping on Impact Wrestling, which, of course, as we know, come next year is going back to being TNA Wrestling.
Yes.
I am steadfast in the belief that people need to stop sleeping on NXT.
Absolutely.
I may not have been able to witness the black and gold. I may not know truthfully how great it was. I've only experienced it on DVD. But this era of NXT is way better than people give it credit for, and they need to stop sleeping on it.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I said it last night. I hear anybody on the team or in the chat kind of about NXT. They're getting told in public, if you will.
Real.
Yeah, I woke up with this.
I got NXT.
Matthew agrees with me. NXT continues to get better and better. Hey, Pop is in the chat room. Good afternoon, good sir. It is always a pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure to see you.
Pardon me, I'm actually having my Sunday brunch on a Sunday brunch show. So.
There you go. So, the $1 million question that gets asked every Monday night is, what do we want to talk about? Now, we've got a few different topics we're going to go through today, a little bit more lighthearted fare than typical open mic night. Open mic night, we generally get into the nitty-gritty, the seriousness, if you will. We did a little bit of digging, tried to find stuff that was a little bit more fun. You know, the type of stuff you'd shoot the shit with your buddies over if you met for brunch, you know? Going to happy hour, watching the football games at a bar. You know, you're not going to have a bunch of life-affirming, like, oh my God, I'm dealing with all this bullshit type of talk with your buddies. You're like, you know, you're going to have fun and lighthearted banter. So that's what we're going to try and do here today. We're going to discuss the big announcement that came out the other day as far as TNA Plus, a new streaming deal that is being partnered with TNA Wrestling and Endeavor. Yes, that Endeavor, the same Endeavor that partnered with WWE to create TKO. We're going to be discussing who we feel the MVPs are in Impact Wrestling, WWE, and AEW. But to kick things off, we're going to discuss the NoDQ Year End Awards. What did we say, Jeff? There's 8 or 9 categories that have been announced and thrown up on NoDQ.com that you can vote on. 9, okay. 9 categories that are currently up that you could vote on. And we are going to start to go through these one by one and just kind of give our thoughts on them. Jeff is multitasking and working on graphics for me as we speak. I currently have graphics for 4 of the 9 categories. And if we get to the point where we're ready to talk about them and we just don't have the graphics yet, we're just going to have to improvise. So the first category we are going to discuss is the Announcer of the Year. And you see there we've got Wade Barrett, Michael Cole, Samantha Irvin, Booker T, Tony Schiavone, and is that Nigel McGuinness giving the peace sign? Jeff?
I think it is. It looks like it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, well, you said multitasking.
So Wade Barrett, Michael Cole, Samantha Irvin, Booker T, Tony Schiavone, and Nigel McGuinness. Now, I know a lot of people love Samantha Irvin, but when I think Announcer of the Year, I think play-by-play in color, not ring announcer. To be fair to her.
Yeah, I'm shocked that wasn't separated.
Well, if it was separated, she would win hands down.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there would be no contest.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be like separating Mommy of the Year from Female Superstar of the Year. You know, Rhea Ripley would just win hands down.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes down to the other 5, though, and Matthew says Cole without a doubt, you know, to be fair, I think it comes down to Cole or Schiavone. The fact that Schiavone is still in the conversation, you know, 40 years into a career, and I don't care what anybody says, he is the glue that holds freaking AEW commentary together, because it sure as hell ain't Excalibur.
No.
Excalibur, you know, for all the hatred that Jeff may spew on him, Excalibur is the young, knowledgeable in the multiple independent styles and moves that get drafted into the AEW roster. Schiavone, JR are the voices of experience and wisdom. And then you've got Taz, you've got Jericho, you've got Big Show, Paul White, whatever you want to call him. You've got those guys that kind of cycle through as the experienced wrestlers that give the color on the matches and whatnot. Would you say that's a safe analogy?
Yeah, I'd say so.
But Schiavone, man, like, Walter, what are you thinking on this? Because for me, it comes down to Cole and Schiavone. I want to hear what you got to say. Maybe you'll sway my vote here.
Well, first things first, whoever nominated Booker T, all you guys who nominated Booker T, you owe me some money because you've been in my product and haven't fucking bought it from me. Because what the hell are you doing nominated Booker T? Like,
shit, right? Oh, I'm with you. Good Lord.
But
shit.
I nominated Schiavone myself. I can admit that. It's got to be Schiavone just to be there for so many. What? It's 20 plus years, like over that.
40.
It's got to be way over. Yes, 40.
40 this year.
It's got to be. Now I could admit Cole has had one of the best years he's had in a long time, where he doesn't have to be that heel Cole, where he was fixated on Miz. He didn't have to be this overly, but Cole's had the best year he's had in years, so I'll give it to him. But how do you not go with Schiavone, who's just been in here for so long, and he's the glue, like you said, that holds AEW together and holds that table together. He's been through it all. The rise and fall of WCW. He's in AEW. He's did everything. So Shivani is definitely my pick.
Got it. Jeff?
First of all, I feel like Frank Sinatra. I love those JINGLE bells. Oh, but I'm too early for that. We got 2 more weeks for that.
Nope, they're still raining, brother. They are on a loop.
That's fair. I want to talk about Samantha Irvin being maybe not belonging in the category. Where are we hearing here? What the hell is that? I think it's this. Hang on. I'm hearing too many things. I hear voices in my head, and it's not Randy Orton's time yet. I say take Samantha Irvin out and put Noah Foster in there, and he wins.
Damn right.
Because Noah Foster's been our announcer of the year. He's been the freaking MVP of this damn channel as far as the watch-alongs go. Holy shit. But with the people we have to work with here, which are all, second best to Noah Foster, for being honest.
I mean, dude, you got Booker T there, but Noah Foster's not nominated. What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell, right? NoDQ Galaxy? You jeez.
Shucky ducky quack quack dog.
That's some shucky ducky bullshit, dog. But I digress because it's early on a Sunday. I'm trying not to cuss too much. I got the Cowboys-Eagles game later. I'm going to be all kinds of cussing later anyway. It's what it is. I find myself hard-pressed to disagree with Tony Schiavone, if I'm being real. I mean, Nigel is insightful, but he almost leans too heavy into the heel nonsense. Like, it's like, no, yeah. just analyze the match, brother. Same with Booker.
We don't need him and Brian doing that whole thing that he does with him.
It's so dumb. Mm-hmm. It is. I find it silly. I really do. So I will say that. Also, as far as Booker's the same way. Booker's like, okay, Booker, you're a legend. You don't have to play that character. Just do your thing, brother. You're enough of a character on your own without having to be a heel too. Like, just stop it. No. Schiavone. When Schiavone was in WCW, I was never a big fan of his, despite being the voice of our childhoods. Like, it wasn't my childhood. I watched WWF for the most part.
Same.
But he has really allowed himself and driven himself to step up his game in his return to national television. So, yeah, I go with Schiavone here, too. Absolutely.
Wasn't Schiavone in WWF for a little bit in the early? Because I remember hearing him and Vince McMahon.
He was there for almost exactly a year. I remember him being backstage interviewer guy at WrestleMania 5. He called SummerSlam with Jesse. I think he called the Royal Rumble with Jesse as well. And then he was.
That's what I remember. Royal Rumble.
And then he was at WrestleMania 6, but not on camera. He did like a lot of the producing stuff.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I if I remember correctly, he produced the Steve Allen segment with the Bolsheviks, which shows you exactly why he didn't last too much longer.
Nice. Differing opinions on that one. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree, Jeff. But I remember when me and Noah recorded our call for 5, I pointed out that was Schiavone, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Schiavone, not too far removed from the same basic look he had in '83 when he debuted for Crockett and interviewing people backstage at Starrcade. It's like, he's just a baby. Right. But yeah, Schiavone's definitely become that elder statesman you can respect. He's at the same level as JR, and JR's work, with all respect to Jim Ross. I love Jim Ross. I love the man Jim Ross. But he's not on TV because of his health right now. But if we're being honest with ourselves and each other, his quality of work has dipped a bit, more than a bit, on AEW.
He's made a lot of mistakes in announcing.
Yeah, and that's and that just comes with the inconsistency he had at the end of his WWE run and just not having the reps all the time. Just happens. Happens to the best of us. Lord knows.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody makes a mistake on commentary. Hell, it was either this past week on Dynamite or it was last week on the programming. Tony Schiavone called the program WCW.
Yeah, like whoopsie doodle. Yeah.
It's like everybody gets caught up in the moment, and it can just have that Freudian slip.
It does. It absolutely happens, and it's not like it's a rare. It's a rare thing for most of those guys. Unfortunately, it became more commonplace for JR, and that's where the problem started happening. So, of these people, I will definitely say Shivani. But if I'm being honest, I take Samantha Irvin as the ring announcer, and I put Noah Foster in that runaway winner.
Agreed. What do you think about Matthew's comment here, where he says Cole's gotten better with Vince not in his ear, while Shivani has gotten pretty bad with TK in his ear? He also makes Collision harder to watch. I definitely agree that Cole has gotten better without Vince in his ear.
That I can agree with. Absolutely.
Collision became hard to watch when Punk got fired.
Yeah.
Because then it just became WCW Saturday Night.
Yeah. Collision was
Dynamite Saturday Night.
Yeah. Collision was designed for Punk Showcase, and he's not there. So it's like, okay, why do we, we spent all this money and look where it got us. Yeah. So,
if you're going to just keep saying the same people that you see on Wednesday and Friday, then there's nothing to make it stand apart.
Zero need for it. Absolutely.
I've been working on something, and I don't know exactly when I'm going to do it. Probably going to film it and upload it here before the end of the year. And it's an open letter to Tony Khan and AEW.
Oh, boy.
Where I'm going to address some things that, in my personal opinion as a fan, granted I'm not a businessman or anything or a wrestling promoter, but things that I feel need to change if he really wants to grow his audience. I'm not going to say succeed and thrive, because this year has been the most profitable year in AEW's history.
Yep.
So you can't really get on them for that. But if you look at attendance, if you look at ratings, there's things that need to change, and I have ideas.
Absolutely.
Matthew also says it's time for JR to hang up the hat on commentary. He's one of the GOATs, but he has nothing else left to prove.
And he doesn't.
I agree. I say you only trot JR out there for big shows.
Yes.
JR should be there for Sting's last match.
Absolutely.
JR should be there for Forbidden Door. JR should be there for Wembley Arena, assuming he's healthy enough to travel.
Yeah. Which is his goal.
Monumental shit like that. JR doesn't need to be there 5 Dynamites a week. JR doesn't need to be there for every Revolution, Double or Nothing, whatever pay-per-view, World's End. He doesn't need to be there for all that shit.
No.
He needs to be the guy that you trot out for that special moment. You already know that this match is going to be big. And the only way that it can be bigger than it's already being presented is if you have Jim Ross's voice on the call as well. That's where Jim Ross needs to come in.
Yeah, I would say JR is up for it and healthy enough. He and Siobhan should call Sting's last.
Absolutely. Nobody else should be on the call. No Taz, no Excalibur, nothing. Just Shivani and JR.
I 100% agree with that.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next one for right now. And we have the pay-per-view PLE of the year. And the nominees are Royal Rumble, Revolution, WrestleMania, Forbidden Door, All In, and Survivor Series War Games.
War Games! Sorry.
Jeff, I'm going to go to you to start this one here.
All right.
Well, I know you're multitasking.
No, you're good.
But I do want to try and be fair and throw this around to multiple people. So,
yeah, this is hard for me because I'm so biased because I was at WrestleMania, right? So it's definitely hard for me to vote against that show because it was such a monumental night, a monumental weekend, 2 nights. But goodness gracious. if it's not WrestleMania, I don't know, what else it could be. Survivor Series was better than I anticipated it would be. If I'm being 100% honest, I had low expectations with or without the anticipation of Punk. Rumble was so good, but it's already so forgotten other than the big moment with Sammy at the end, right? Revolution was good. I think, honestly, Forbidden Door is kind of one of those, it got lost in the shuffle because there's been so much good premium events this year. I'm going to stick with WrestleMania. WrestleMania was, WrestleMania is WrestleMania for a reason. Every show of the year, whatever company you're in, tries to live up to the spectacle of WrestleMania. And WrestleMania, particularly night one, if I'm going to be honest. Night two, people give night two so much shit because of the end of the last match. But, man, that night two was solid as a rock. You have, again, Matthew, to your point, you have the main event finish not going the way people expected to go. But, man, Hell in a Cell with Balor and Edge was awesome. The Brock Lesnar match was on night two. The Intercontinental match was on night two, was it not?
I believe so.
So, yeah, it's a solid weekend of events for WrestleMania. Both nights. What am I hearing there? Is that me again? I'm hearing something besides the jingle bells in the background, which is throwing me off. So sorry if I'm distracted.
No, the only thing I'm hearing are the jingle bells. So
okay, then it must be me on this end. So sorry in advance again. There it goes. It's going.
When the bells end, there's a little audible of something else before the bells kick in. So you may be on a little bit of a lag in hearing that audio. So
got it. Okay, very good. For me, WrestleMania is a runaway for this, but Survivor Series almost gave me pause. Almost.
It's fair. I think it's interesting to me that when you really look at it on the AEW side of things, only one of the three that were nominated were traditional events.
Mm-hmm.
Forbidden Door was the second super card. Granted, it's looking like it's going to become an annual pay-per-view for them, but it's a super card. And All In was the first All In under the AEW banner, second one total. And again, it looks like it's becoming a special or a yearly thing because they announced for another one this year. But it was poised to be a special standalone event, which I feel like it should be. Rumble, Mania, and Survivor Series are three of WWE's big four every year. I think it's interesting that nothing outside of those got nominated. There was no Chamber with Sammy versus Roman.
I know.
There was no Money in the Bank. There's nothing from NXT. Stand and Deliver wasn't nominated, which was a banger. The ascension of Mello and the fall of freaking Braun Breaker.
Yeah. Definitely. But again, these are nominations that were put out there by not just one person, not just one member of the NoDQ Galaxy. So it's curious to me as well that.
Well, and to Walter's
point,
to Walter's point that he just put in the chat room, and I'm about to throw it to him anyways. How is there nothing from NXT or even Impact nominated? Impact has had some great shows, and granted, I don't tune into Impact on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
But the pay-per-views that I have done watch-alongs with Noah with have been solid. Bound for Glory was outstanding.
Yeah, it was.
Their super cards that they did, I forget what they called them. It wasn't Forbidden Door, but it was Multiverse United. Their two Multiverse United shows were fucking phenomenal. They've had some killer shows this year. And it's a sad state, I think, on the NoDQ Galaxy, and I'm not trying to run anyone down, but I think it's a sad state that NXT and Impact didn't even get a nomination in here. And it's all AEW, WWE.
Yeah.
For the record, for me, I think I'm leaning more towards All In over WrestleMania, because that show, I just feel, didn't slow down from bell to bell. Were there controversies that surrounded it that kind of brought it down? Yeah, definitely. But if you take those out of the equation, the show was a damn good show. I just feel like it kind of got overshadowed by the controversies.
Okay. It's fair. Hard to argue with it. It's unfortunate because it was a good show, a good solid card.
Yeah, I think Jeff had it right. Royal Rumble, like, I love the Royal Rumble. The problem is it's in January. So by the time you hit April, May, and WrestleMania hits, you kind of forget the Rumble. All you think of is who won the Rumble to get the main event in WrestleMania. And then once WrestleMania happens, you kind of forget about the Rumble after that. Like, once it hits May, you don't even think about the Rumble anymore. Like, sometimes I forget the winners and all that unless they won at WrestleMania. I mean, granted, it's hard to forget Cody, but it's just weird because the Rumble is like, it's weird. I love the Rumble, but it's just too early in the year to ever be the PLE of the year, because then you go through the rest of the year and it's like you don't think about the Rumble anymore. And then All In, I think people sleeping on All In. Like you just said, the thing is that you're remembering All In for the backstage BS as opposed to the actual great card it was. And then Survivor Series is more of I think that's just a recency bias because it's what's going on now. And I think that's what got that nominated.
Agreed.
But for me,
I 100% feel, and I will die on this hill with Holly through my heart, if Randy Orton and CM Punk didn't return at Survivor Series, it wouldn't be nominated.
Nope.
Fair.
Period.
That's fair.
That's the only reason it was nominated.
Yeah, totally fair. But
totally,
I gotta go with WrestleMania because no matter what company you're in, no matter what you grow up wrestling, WrestleMania is the thing. Even for the wrestlers themselves, part of the biggest reason Punk left in the first place is because they never gave him the main event at what? WrestleMania. It's like WrestleMania. It's its own entity. It's almost like separate from everything else. And then the fact that Sammy and KO finally won the tag titles, the first time you've seen the tag titles main event, that emotional moment when they won, I let a couple of tears come out my eyes. I'm not gonna lie. Like the waterworks came on and somebody was cutting onions around me when they finally won. So it's like, how do you not go with WrestleMania? Yeah, WrestleMania for me.
Yeah, especially me and Jeff too, dude. I mean, especially when you factor in our history with those guys and knowing Kevin Steen and El Generico before they became Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been riding with those dudes for 18 years, damn near.
Mm.
So that was a moment for us.
I don't think I've been that happily hysterical at a wrestling show in years, maybe even decades. I was just so friggin' tickled for those guys. I really was. So awesome, man. And seeing Edge come out for Hell in a Cell, you know, and just to get that moment back that he thought was going to be robbed from him forever. And, you know, seeing the Cell, the actual Hell in a Cell, not that Red Crate of Hate bullshit, in person, in front of me. Mania was just so good on so many fronts. It really was.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. All right. The next one we're going to take a look at is the Breakout Star of the Year. And this is going to piggyback a little bit into a topic we're going to have a little bit later where we talk about the MVP, but they are definitely completely different topics.
Yes.
So you've got Dominic Mysterio, Julia Hart, Willow Nightingale, You've got Swerve Strickland, Tiffany Stratton, and say it with me, everybody, L.A. Knight.
Now,
Yeah.
There's a lag on Walters, and unfortunately.
And
oh,
this one is tough.
yeah.
This one is really tough. I am going to try to be very objective here and not subjective. Forgive me if subjectivity creeps through. Willow Nightingale started the year as a jobber.
Yep.
She only began getting pushed when she defeated Mercedes Moné for that New Japan Strong Women's Championship in Long Beach in that tournament. If she had not defeated Mercedes, and she only defeated Mercedes because Mercedes got injured, if we're being real.
It's fair.
If she hadn't defeated Mercedes, would she have gotten the push that she is getting today? Or would she still be a jobber?
Yeah.
I tend to think she'd still be a jobber. So I'm eliminating Willow, much as I love Willow.
Yes.
L.A. Knight. This may surprise some people, but I don't feel that he is the breakout star of the year. Because he has been inconsistent. There have been way too many stutter steps with him, and granted, that is not his fault. He has eaten up every bit of TV time and opportunity they have given him. But they did not commit to him until SummerSlam.
It's fair.
Tiffany Stratton. Definitely high up there on the list for me as far as the women goes. She, y'all have heard me say on NXT commentary how much she has proven me wrong.
Right.
In everything that I thought that she was going to be. And just you know what? I'm just going to say it. She's the new Mandy Rose.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Everybody had her pegged as one thing, and she has consistently put out banner after banner after banner and made the women's division mean something, while people like Roxy, who have carried the weight of the women's division, can go do other things and other programs and not need to even really be in the title picture.
Fair.
That leaves me with 3. Julia Hart. Man, she is the rose that grew from concrete.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow in the darkness, there has been light enough to make this character bloom. And dare I say, she's the best part of House of Black.
I'd argue.
I look forward to seeing her come out every week. Watching her mouth along with the words of her song as she makes her entrance. Singing along with such conviction. I believe she is actually musically gifted herself. I wonder if she is the one that is singing that song. I am not sure. It would explain a lot as to why she sings along with it with such conviction, if she's the actual one performing it.
Very true, very true.
But I don't think it's her year. Okay. That brings me to Swerve Strickland and Dominic Mysterio. And for the breakout star of the year, I'm going to go with Swerve on this one.
Okay.
I put Dom over heavy, and I'm going to put him over heavy later. But you want to talk about breakout, Swerve is supposed to be a heel, and he is organically turned that entire audience into his favor.
Fair.
Between Prince Nana dancing, between his music, between his promos, between, backing up the shit that he says, Swerve has proven to be the diamond in the rough in the AEW locker room, in my personal opinion.
Right.
Walter, what say you? He might still be on his phone call. He did put in the private chat that the phone was ringing for him, so I wasn't sure if he was off.
No, we're good. All right.
Go ahead, Jeff.
All right. God, again, I found it very surprising when you first said LA Knight's name, but it's like, you know what? Your points were not remotely invalid. They are on the money. And to your point, Sean's path has been inconsistent until after the second half was well underway of the year. So I would say that's a fair argument. For me, it came down to Swerve and Tiffany. Low expectation of Tiffany. Low opinion of Tiffany when she got that moment on television. She's not ready for TV yet. She proved me the hell wrong. And I commend the hell out of her, and I commend the hell out of people in NXT for making me get to that point with her. But yeah, how can you argue with Swerve, man? Swerve's had the year. And, the fact that this man literally committed a home invasion and he's getting cheers. Granted, he's going against everybody's favorite piece of cowboy shit, but still, the man literally invaded another man's home and he got the babyface pop. What the actual hell? For me, it's got to be Swerve, right?
Right? For real. Like, you go into a feud against the Hangman, and you're supposed to be the heel. Like you said, you invade his home, and then somehow you come out of it the babyface.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, what times are we living in?
That would be like freaking Charles Manson going into a courtroom, putting a gun or something to the judge's head, and everybody in the courtroom fucking cheering him, and he just walks right out.
Like,
wow. What the hell just happened here?
What an analogy.
For real though, like it's crazy. It's crazy to think about.
It's like one of the movie villains that you want to get behind.
For real, But I mean, the movie villains are one thing because they're so entertaining anyways.
Yeah.
But he's not supposed to be like that. He's supposed to be this diabolical heel. It's just his baby face doesn't know how to baby face because he wouldn't take fucking advice when the legends wanted to fucking give it to him.
Mm-hmm. He's a piece of cowboy shit.
But I digress.
Not sure.
What are you thinking here, Walter?
How the hell did Trick make this list? Well, I guess because it's only been like the last 3-4 months that he's
right,
so
fair.
I kind of get it, so I'd be fair. But if Trick was on this, I wouldn't know what the hell to do, to be honest. So LA Knight, especially on NoDQ in here, is just so over with his thing. But I feel like the last few months, it kind of, after he lost the title shot and everything, he's kind of got. We'll see how he deals with the whole return of CM Punk and everything. If he doesn't get overshadowed, then maybe he can deserve it. But Tiffany shut me up because I was like, "Who's this chick with the whole hair?" And I didn't put 2 cents behind her. And then she just, look at last night. Look her showing in the match. Like, it was to the point that I thought she might have pulled it out. I was like, damn it, are they gonna go with it? Like I was
Right?
like,
Yeah.
she had an awesome show. So it's right up there with her. And Dom is more, if it was like, he's in another category that I feel like he wins. So I can't say breakout star of the year for him just because of that other category.
Absolutely. That piggybacks into the second topic of the afternoon. So we'll pump the brakes on that one.
Exactly. But it's you can have some retort for everyone else, but it's like for Swerve, how the hell do you retort that? Like Swerve, just the little dance. I catch myself doing that, walking around the house, cleaning or anything, or playing his music. Yeah. My wife walks around going, and let's Swerve. And then they got the meme with Napoleon Dynamite dancing to it, which is freaking hilarious. It's like
I literally will be driving around on Wednesdays because when I take the kids to school, I will listen on Monday to my Raw themes, Tuesday to my NXT, Wednesday to my AEW, Friday to my SmackDown. If I'm driving around on Wednesday and that song comes on, I'm literally swerving while I drive, like for real.
Yeah, it's like even his manager's getting over just with even with a broken, like, look, in this tournament you're not allowed it, but one of them, he came out with him, even with a broken ankle or leg or whatever it is he hurt. He still did the little, and the crowd popped like hell. It's like, Swerve has got to be one of WWE's biggest mistakes, man. They really let that slip through theirs.
That's the funny thing, because when Prince Nana comes out with anybody else, he is one of the most hated motherfuckers in the building, like legitimate Dominic Mysterio heat. But as soon as that music drops for Swerve and he comes out, he is one of the biggest baby faces, man. We're talking Austin Rock baby face pop. It's so crazy to see the crowd switch for Nana, and all it is the music and the person he's seconding.
Exactly. It's
Dude,
like collateral damage in a good
Bobby
way.
the Brain Heenan could have been managing fucking Rick Rude and the biggest heels of the time, but man, you fucking switch the music up and let them come out with Hulk Hogan in the main event, and everyone's like, Heenan, instead of Weasel.
It's true. It's true. Just swear. It's just everything he's done to turn around. I'm telling you, I don't know how WWE they didn't know what they had. So
they did. They did.
Hopefully AEW does the right thing with him, and I'm hoping for him to dethrone MJF. To be honest, so I got to go with Swerve because he broke the glass. He broke through all the way.
Colin, good to see you.
Good to see you, Cleaver.
All right, so that is 3 of the 9 down. We're going to throw to a very quick couple of commercials, probably about a minute total, just to give a little bit of a break ski here, give Jeff a moment to try to get a couple more graphics ready for us.
Almost done.
And here are where you can find the Friends of the Multiverse Media. And if you've ever thought about becoming a professional wrestler and are in the SoCal area, y'all may remember we had Gino Rivera, Gino Told You So, on our show last week. This video tells you where he trained and how you can sign up for their courses. And we are back. So yeah, that is how you can sign up if you are in SoCal and would like to pursue a career as a professional wrestler. SantinoBros.net. That is the school where Gino Told You So trained. That is the school where, who else? Bad Dude Tito trained.
Ronda Rousey got her finishing there.
There you go.
Quite
Lots of people.
Yes.
Hey, JJ. Looky what just came.
Nice. I'll make sure you get my address after we are done, sir, so you can forward mine to me. Matthew says, I think Triple H knew what he had, but then said he's out. You know, Swerve is the one person Triple H regrets that he can never get back. That's probably accurate.
I'm sure they played for him. When they brought the whole Hit Row back, I'm sure they wanted him more than any of the others. They just couldn't.
Yep. And it's suffered ever since. Dare I say that's probably one of Triple H's biggest blunder re-signings has been Hit Row.
Yeah, he farted in the elevator with that one.
All right. So the next category we are going to discuss is the comeback of the year. And you've got the Second City Saint, CM Punk, the Viper, Randy Orton, the Annihilator herself, Nia Jax, Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn, Trish Stratus, and Chelsea Green. I did that just to make Jeff pop. I see him giggling there in the square.
I love how she says that, though. I really do.
See,
it's just so dumb because it's all a fluke. It's just one of those. She did it once, a time she's like, "Stop it, just stop it," and she's like, "Nope," and she popped. And that was it. Oh, you're shit.
This is a really tricky one. I think. I know a lot of people think that it should be very obvious who it goes to. And while I do think that there's an argument that Punk is probably the greatest comeback this year, hear me out here. Nia Jax, no disrespect, I'm going to take out. She made her return, if you will, in the Rumble as a surprise entrant. Then she disappeared for more than half the year. Only came back in the last, we'll say, 4 months, last quarter of the year, last third of the year. And she hasn't really made an impact. Chelsea Green made a return. They stutter-stepped with her for a little bit with the Karen gimmick. Finally got the ball rolling with her with the tag titles. Then she had the worst luck imaginable with all her partners getting an injury. Finally seems to have fallen into something somewhat stable with Piper Niven, but hasn't been truly memorable. Billy Gunn. I love Billy Gunn. He's really helped to get the Acclaimed over. You know, scissor me, daddy ass. But he's been around for a minute. Like, it's not like he truly came back. You know, he retired and then 2 weeks later came out of retirement to have a match at All In. But for the other 50 weeks of the year, he was still active. It's like, okay. I guess that 2-week retirement warrants a comeback. Not sure. You know, he's having another tag title run as part of the Trios champions with the Acclaimed. Billy Gunn, forever tag team champion. You know, definitely helping get the Acclaimed a little bit of a rub here, but what happens when they lose the belts? the $1 million question. CM Punk. Here's where I'm going to dispute that Punk doesn't deserve it. And I know the big CM Punk fan in the room is going to tell everyone why he doesn't deserve it. Have a seat. You may want to pour in some alcohol here. CM Punk has been around all year. Yes, he was out on injury from AEW, made his return. Then Collision became a thing. You know, they debuted Collision just for him so they could keep him separated from those who didn't want to play nice in the sandbox with CM Punk. Collision did its thing. Then All In happened. And then he was fired. And then he came back to WWE. And granted, while his return to WWE truly was hell freezing over, as Cleaver says, he was still visible. He was still around. It's like, you want to get technical, which comeback of the year are we talking about for Phil? When he returned for Collision or when he returned to WWE? Because both of them technically qualify as comebacks of the year. If we want to get technical. That leaves it for me between Orton and Trish. Orton just came back off of an 18-month, could have been career-ending injury. He's been back for 2 weeks. That's recency bias. Trish came back out of nowhere to help Becky and Lita. Then took over when Lita got injured as half of the tag champions, so she was a champion this year. Then she had that series of matches and feud with Becky, all while helping ascend Zoe Stark to a level where she matters now. And she just had a title match against Rhea Ripley for the gold. I am going to say 3 simple words for my comeback of the year. Thank you, Trish. Jeff?
Pull a John Cena, rewind and hit play again. That's exactly where I was going with it, other than the Punk thing. And I say other than the Punk thing only because I'm going off his WWE comeback, which granted is less than 2 weeks old. So there is that. But the moment of that return was so monumental. And it was hell freezing over. And hey, I lived through hell freezing over. I'm a Eagles band fan, okay? I have lived through hell freezing over for real in 1994 because that shit was never supposed to happen. So Punk was definitely in the discussion for me, but I was honestly going with Trish Stratus for everything you said. She was never supposed to come back and be a full-time on-air participant, and she was with us for a good chunk of this year. And I loved every bit of it, and I made no apologies for it, and got shit for those lack of apologies. And you know what? Thank you, Trish, for validating my overly praising of you. And thank you, NoDQ Galaxy, for validating it as well, because she's in the category of nominations. So cheers to the NoDQ Galaxy, and cheers to the GOAT, Trish Stratus. Comeback of the year, by God.
Walter?
It's Nia Jax for me, man. No, I'm kidding.
He's fired. Yeah, I'm fired. I gotta hear that. Oh no!
Everybody knows. Everybody knows that I love CM Punk and everything, but I've yet to see what storyline he's involved in because he's all over the place. We don't know where he's signed to, and we haven't seen him wrestle in WWE yet. So for me, yeah, comeback the moment, hell freezing over everything. You know, I love Punk, but I think that's why I can't go with Punk, because I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I want to see you. When you come back, I got to see what you're involved in and what you come back to. Orton's already had 3-4 matches. You know what I mean? So, and then Orton, the whole story that he's been gone for almost 2 years, 18 months, and back-ended surgery. I'm so happy for him and everything he's done, but it's recency bias, and it just happened. And then, like you said, Billy Gunn, what the hell did he come back from? He never gone. Like he retired for did the boots thing, like you said, 2 weeks, whatever it was. So that disqualifies him to him. He never left. He just, if it was resurgence of the year, maybe Billy Gunn can be the top person and you can pick him. But he didn't come back from anything, so that disqualifies him for me. But it's Trish for me too, because it's like she was supposed to be temporary, just come back, get a pop, and leave. And she caught the bug, or the universe put it all together with Lita, with what happened to Lita, and then suddenly Trish was with us for 6+ months, and she put a little boost in the women's division. Like, I was with it, and then we called it. Her heel turn and everything. Granted, she wasn't the best on the mic with the heel thing, because it didn't seem like her heart was completely in it. But
yes,
Trish was gone for years, and she only made appearances at a Raw or pop-up appearances like that. So the definition of a comeback is Trish. She literally came back from being completely out of our lives. So how do you argue against Trish?
I agree. Wholeheartedly agree. All right. The next one we're going to do is the finisher of the year. And we've got Cody Rhodes with the Crossroads. We've got Bronson Reed with the Tsunami. We've got Roman Reigns and his Spear. We've got L.A. Knight and the BFT, Blunt Force Trauma. We've got Seth freaking Rollins and the Curb Stomp. And we've got Swerve Strickland with the Swerve Stomp. Jeff, I'm going to let you analyze this one first.
Yeah, this is probably the hardest one, because none of them have been effective to the point that they've really stood out as the one dominant finisher. Roman Reigns' Spear was less and less effective every time he stepped into the ring this year, for being honest. Cody, again, hit the Crossroads, but didn't get the 1, 2, 3 when it mattered in front of 80,000 people. Swerve, again, I think Swerve's finisher has been more of a mental game than it has actually hitting the stomp. And for being real, the curb stomp is Seth Rollins. Used to be Super Dragons, but totally different curb stomp, and he ain't wrestling no more. LA Knight and the BFT, while an amazing stunner type move, and yet another comparison, either Austin or Rock for our buddy Sean Ricker. Again, what has it done for him on the main roster except get the win on television, not the big win? For me, it's Bronson Reed. Nobody has kicked out of that splash yet. Nobody has even come close. When you hit the Tsunami, if it's not over, it's because the ref made a miscue on the count, or the ring collapsed under the pressure of the Tsunami, one or the other. Other than that, it's been an effective, dominant finisher. So for me, it's Bronson Reed and the Tsunami Splash.
Okay. Walter?
For me, I'm going to repeat what some people said on the original No DQ. Crossroads, everyone kicks out of it, or you got to hit it 3, 4, 5 times to finally. I mean, sometimes he just does it on purpose to purposely hit somebody 3 times before he even attempts to cover. So that kind of disqualifies it for me. I do like Bronson's huge splat. monsoon. What is it? Typhoon, monsoon. What do they call it?
Tsunami.
Tsunami. I knew it was one of those natural disasters. No pun intended with the the early '90s tag team, but but he looked like he would belong to them though. I go with Curb Stomp because it's just Curb Stomp is also, and that's a comeback move. To think about it, Curb Stomp was banned at one point because they were afraid of what people would do wrestling on their own and people imitating it. But it's just it's an awesome looking move, and he can put it on anybody. The thing is, some finishers, when you weigh a certain amount, and when somebody, if you're not strong enough, you can't perform it on other people. The Curb Stomp literally isn't exempt from anyone. You can hit the Curb Stomp on literally anyone, and it's one of those moves that's lights out. Like, very few people have kicked out of the Curb Stomp. Like, I can't even think of anyone who's kicked out of the Curb Stomp aside for, did Roman kick out when they went one-on-one?
Think so.
I think Roman. Yeah,
they may not have let it. They may not have let it be back in his repertoire yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I don't remember anyone kicking out of the Curb Stomp, so the Curb Stomp for me.
Okay. Looking at a couple of these comments here.
Yeah. Again, both Matthew's comments are correct. Cody, yeah. I think in Cody's case with the overuse of it, Matthew, it's been hitting it to drive a point home rather than needing the 3 to win. But I do agree it's been overused, as well as Roman's finishers. It's just like, okay, it's been champion for 1,200 and something days. I can remember him using the guillotine, but not consistently / regularly. It's been the spear or the punch. It's like, okay, been champion for almost 4 years, brother. Let's expand the repertoire just a smidge.
Yeah, for real. And I mean, why isn't the Muscle Buster up here? Why isn't God, I just had it too. The Powerbomb Symphony, Wardlow.
Yeah.
There's, at the end of the day, the Swerve Stomp and the Curb Stomp are more or less the same freaking move.
Right.
A spear from Roman, no disrespect intended to Roman. I acknowledge my tribal chief. But how many other people do a fucking spear?
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley did a spear on Tribute to the Troops, damn near turned his opponent inside out.
Yeah, he did.
And Roman's connects, but it's not that impactful.
No, it's not.
The BFT, like you said, it's basically an RKO. It's a cutter out of nowhere.
Yeah. I would say center because it needs more of that boot setup where you need to get the guy doubled over to hit it. Again, the thing is, you mentioned the finishers. This is the NoDQ Galaxy's nominations. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, the NoDQ media presentations tend to skew against liking AEW. So that's why we're not going to get some of these. And, to be fair, if I'm going to play both sides, Samoa Joe with the Muscle Buster, he didn't win a lot with the Muscle Buster. He won with the chokeout quite a bit, more often than not this year. Kachina Clutch, thank you. And, he was champion for 500 something days or whatever it was, but how often did he defend the title on either television show?
What about Hook's Red Rum?
Again, not enough showcasing properly. That's not NoDQ's fault necessarily, but it definitely doesn't help.
All right. The last one we're going to do for this one before we go to another brief break, we're going to discuss the Tag Team of the Year. For those of you playing at home, that's going to leave us with the male, female superstars and the match of the year when we come back from commercial. But
yes,
tag team of the year. FTR, the top guys. The Judgment Day, Priest and Balor. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Wow, Sami Owens.
The Acclaimed. The Creeds. And the Usos.
Yes. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, seriously, because I'm looking at this from a consistency standpoint.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at it at a consistency standpoint, then I've already eliminated Sammy, KO, and the Usos.
Yep.
Which is crazy because arguably those two teams probably had the best year. You know, because the Usos were in the midst of the longest setting tag team run in history.
Yep.
And it was Sammy and KO that ended it.
Yep.
At WrestleMania, no less.
In front of me.
So it's like, but how long were they apart before they came together for Mania? And how long have they been apart since Mania?
Yeah.
And the Usos have broken up. The other four teams are still at least together.
Yeah. And for people that are going to ask, I chose the Judgment Day configuration I did because they have been the tag team contingent. You know, JD and Dominic have not been a consistent tag team, and these two guys have not partnered in a tag team match format with the other two on a regular basis. But they're the reigning freaking tag team champions, crying out loud. Same with the Acclaimed. I didn't pick the Acclaimed yet. Yes, of course, when I put in a picture for Billy Gunn to search for the comeback of the year, the picture even came up. I'm like, well, that would have been good about 20 minutes ago, assholes. But, you know, again, the Acclaimed have been the tag team, whereas the three of them have been trios champions. So there's the difference there. Anyway.
And I can eliminate the Acclaimed because, unfortunately, Tony Khan had lightning in a bottle and didn't know how the fuck to book it.
Right, exactly.
So for me, it comes down to the Creeds, the Judgment Day, and the FTR. And a lot of people are probably surprised that I have the Creeds in my top three. But again, it's the consistency factor. If you tune into NXT on a weekly basis, you saw how dominant the Creeds were this year.
Absolutely.
Granted, they had that small angle where they lost the match to the Schism and had to leave NXT.
Yeah.
Which was dumb considering that the grizzled young veterans wanted out of their contract and their contract was allowed to expire and leave anyways.
Yeah, that was...
Could have just had them lose the match, but I digress.
Yeah.
The storyline in building their return and how they manipulated things and them getting called up to the main roster and them going toe-to-toe with and defeating Alpha Academy and DIY and like now they're the number one contenders to the tag champions. Like the Creed's rise has been one of those rag to riches type of stories over the course of the year where if all you do is watch Raw and SmackDown like some people do, you don't get to see everything.
Right.
But if you actually do your due diligence and watch all the shows, then you know exactly why the Creeds are special and great and are deserving of the award. Do I think that they will get it? No. Unfortunately, because it's the Galaxy voting. I honestly don't think you can dispute FTR as the champions for this award, for the Tag Team of the Year. You know, they put on barn burners with anybody that they touch. You know,
Right.
to use the analogy that we always use, they could go out there with a freaking push broom, and the push broom will get inducted in the Hall of Fame because of the match that it had with FTR.
Yep.
And the push broom will go over. For real. Like, the push broom will get the victory on FTR. Because they're just that damn good and they know how to make it work. Jeff?
Yeah, for me, when I was putting the graphics together, it was always like the Judgment Day and everybody else was going to be arguing for second place for me.
Sorry. Matthew, you're out of line, but you're not wrong. I love that. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
Just I'm typing out as well. Yeah, for me, it comes down to the Judgment Day has been the most dominant personalities, team, fact, whatever, on Monday Night Raw. Everybody else has been fighting for second place. So, and the Judgment Day, whether they've been champions or not, have been a continued presence throughout the entire calendar year. So, it really comes down to the fact that when they weren't champions, they were in the discussion or in the main event storylines all year. And now they've been champions, it's been people trying to rub up against them this entire time. So for me, it's definitely the Judgment Day by a lot. And if I have to, gun to my head, pick the runner-up just to be the discussion guy, I would probably say that I would say the Usos, as quickly as they broke up, not too long, at SummerSlam, for that 8 months, Jimmy and Jay were fighting against their own world, going up against the Tribal Chief. That's a bitch of a fight to have to make, but knowing you have to do it, you have to make that fight for your own sanity, your own survival. You got to do it, and that's a tough road to hoe in the context of suspending disbelief. These two brothers had to go against the family line, if you will, to make their point. That's a bitch of a story to have to tell, and the Usos did it very well up until very, very recently.
Fair. Walter?
Yeah, if it was 2022, Usos all day. But the fact that they broke up, I get what you're saying though, Jeff, but I think it kind of disqualifies them that so many years they broke up. And KO and Sammy did so great, but then they won the tag titles after WrestleMania, and then it was like, then what happened? Like, their title run was not that great for me.
Yeah,
so it kind of like went out of nowhere. And then in Acclaim, they're so over they're everybody was scissor me that, but we live in a what have you done for me lately? Like, lately they just been backstage trying to be MJF's best friend, getting put through plate glass windows, imitating Marty Jannetty. So it's like, what are they doing now? So it's like, that kind of disqualifies them for me. And then FTR, they're the team to beat, but the problem is we can't put our own personal bias in it. We have to think what the galaxy is going to pick, and I just don't see them picking FTR. FTR would personally be my pick, and it's between Creed Brothers and FTR for me, because the Creed Brothers are just so awesome, and people just think of their recent SmackDown and the stuff they're doing, but you got to go back to when they were in NXT and look at the matches they had in NXT, and these are some big dudes, like 6'5", 6'3", 6'7", something like one of them 6'4", maybe the other 6'7", doing cruiserweight moves, doing top rope. They're doing crazy looking. Like, to me, that's just so awesome, and I love the Creed Brothers, and I hope all the best for their future. But
they are big, solid, collegiate turned professional athletes. They're bad motherfuckers on top of it. Yeah, they really are.
They really are.
They're great. They're great. And getting back to the the Usos thing, it's just one of those. I'm sorry. You were talking about the plate glass thing. Do not compare people to Martin Jannetty Walter. Martin Jannetty was a gutless coward who tried to dive out of the barbershop to not take that further ass whooping. He's a punk bitch.
Yeah.
Damn him.
Oh God, I miss Heenan and his commentary.
I miss Bobby on all of it. My goodness.
And before I throw the commercial, I completely agree with Matthew. I honestly think they are going to dethrone the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, Dom just lost last night.
Yes.
We need Priest and Balor to lose, then all that's gonna leave is Mommy.
Yeah.
Mommy
so FTR is my pick.
Top, but for how long?
Yeah. FTR is my pick, but I think the Galaxy's gonna pick Judgment Day just because everywhere you turn, Judgment Day is there on both shows and everything they've done. So they're not my personal pick, but I think they're gonna win the vote. But FTR would be my personal pick.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to throw to another commercial. A little bit longer. This one's going to be just under 2 minutes. Going to show you everything for Stat Boy Sports Bar and what you can expect when you tune into the Sports Bar every Tuesday, 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. And then we will be back to talk about the male superstar, female superstar, and match of the year.
You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Beecham Network Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the Stat Boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa de 18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show.
And we are back. Gotta love those longer trailers, man. Give you a chance to refresh your tasty beverage, take a liaki, and get back in time for the table.
Lord.
All right, so I believe it was requested that Match of the Year be final.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to discuss the male superstar of the year. Why? Because we give our love to the women. The women will be the semi-main event. God damn it.
I see.
So for male superstar of the year, we have everybody's favorite scumbag, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. We have Seth freaking Rollins, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Whoa.
Mr. L.A. Knight himself, yeah.
Yeah.
The Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. And the Reign General, Gunther. Walter, I'm gonna let you start with this one.
The hardest. This one's hard. This is very difficult. You got MJF, who is just a superstar in his own planet right now in AEW. Like, you take him out of AEW, they might have had all their legs, head, shoulders, everything cut off, and AEW would not survive. You better smarten up Tony, and I hope you signed him for 2024 already, and that becomes just a story. Because if you actually let that contract go into a bidding war, you's an idiot. And Gunther. How do you not include Gunther like that? I think the Galaxy got a lot of these right. Roman, I wouldn't put in there because you're not there half the year. How can you be a superstar of a year and you're not there half the year? You don't show up to work in any other industry. Goodbye. You know what I mean? So, like, that disqualifies Roman for me. Although I love Roman, I'm a big Roman fan. Like, obviously, I got a Roman shirt on, but he can't be superstar of the year when you're half the year away. And then Cody with him and Seth with their music alone captivates everybody, and every match they've been in is just awesome. And Rollins with his music and defending the title, and you can tell I'm stalling here because I really don't even know who to go with. But and then LA Knight, a superstar that came out of nowhere, blew up. He's so over and everything, but for the whole year, I don't think I can pick LA Knight. It's really between Gunther and Seth for me, because they both have made these titles relevant. This is a new title, and Seth showed that this is what you do when you got a champ that's here all year around. This is how you make a title relevant. But Gunther with that IC title, and Gunther hasn't been pinned. People talk about Roman, but I don't think Gunther's been pinned in like 2 years. I don't think Gunther has lost a match in at least 1 year. I believe it's 2 years, to be honest. So for me, I'm gonna say Gunther. Gunther's the superstar of the year for me because but since Miz made it relevant a few years ago, who the hell has thought about that IC title like that? It's just been a prop. With Gunther holding it, it's become a major league title, like back in the 90s, almost a stepping stone to the next level. And I hope it is. I hope we see Gunther with the world title in 2024. But now that Punk's back, he threw a monkey wrench in those plans. So we'll see. But the IC title was always meant. You got your Bret Harts, you got all these people who had that title that when they lost it, Shawn Michaels, they became champ and they took the next level up. So I say Gunther for me.
Fair point. I was going to point it out if no one else did in the comments.
Yeah.
Gunther did lose that one match to Gable via countout, but he's definitely not been pinned or submitted. Yeah. I think since Ilya beat him for the NXT UK title.
I know. I don't. Sheesh.
Noah popping into the chat room. What is up, good sir? Glad to see you pop in for a moment. Heading home to sleep. He picks MJF for the male superstar of the year.
And I can't argue with it.
Well, we know who Jeff is going to pick. No other reason, but for the fact that he put over Jeff over Aaron Rift and NoDQ. I'm just saying, I think our scumbag is going to be Jeff's pick. Jeff, would you like to Adam Pearce it and make it official, or are you going to surprise me here?
I'm not going to surprise you, but I do want to talk about the other nominees. My goodness. Yeah, they're all in the discussion, no doubt about it. LA Knight, I think, is the least discussable because, again, he's been a second half surgeons, right? Cody, again, Cody's been a personality all year, but he didn't get it done when it counted, period. He just didn't. Walter, in the same vein that the Creeds will be tag team champions by year's end next year, so will Walter. So will Gunther. He will be the world champion in 2024. I'm telling you that right now. You can't deny this man anymore. Just can't do it. The Roman Empire will fall in 2024. So, and he's been so inconsistently on television. I can't As much as I acknowledge the greatness of Roman Reigns, I cannot make him Superstar of the Year. It would just, it would be next of kin to retching. It's like, no, it doesn't work for me, brother. Rollins is the only other person I can even remotely consider besides Max. He's been a consistent figure on TV all year, held the world championship for most of it, defended it in situations he shouldn't have been defending. He shouldn't even have been in the ring half this year with this back injury if you suspend disbelief and believe the storyline. But the reason Max gets the vote has nothing to do with the fact that he put me over like friggin' Rover.
Nothing?
It was maybe 5%.
Okay. So it's
but
still
the other 95% is very simple. He has been a consistent AEW world champion at a time that it wasn't popular to be an AEW world champion. And he was handed chicken shit on a regular basis and somehow made gourmet chicken salad out of every single situation. Him and CM Punk should have been a match, a feud, a program that made Tony Khan a billionaire. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And with all respect to his return to WWE and how awesome all of us have thought it's been, Punk's actions and the actions of people that opposed him over a year and a half fucked Max. I don't care about Tony. Tony's the boss. He made his own decisions and letting that shit run rampant. It's not Max's fault.
Nope.
You know, the bullshit with EVPs and everything is not Max's fault. Max was, here's the championship, do your thing. And he's gone above and beyond every single time. We're going to talk about match of the year. I found myself in a situation where even before I met Max in November, when I was first thinking of these nominations, he was in like 2 or 3 matches I had on my list because he's been that good this year.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason Max will not win Superstar of the Year is because I'm endorsing him right now. Because NoDQ Galaxy is going to just go do just to spite my ass. That's the reason he shouldn't win this year, is because Jeff Meacham says so. For me, he's been the guy all year, consistently. Across the board, across the multiverse, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, put me over. Again, I thank you. My father thanks you. My mother thanks you. My brothers thank you. Guy's a star. And he's a fan of mine. So once again, it's mine, Aaron's fault, as always.
Damn right.
All our fault. And you know what? I own the shit out of that one. I'll take it.
You're the reason he watched Talk Wrestling #1, where Jeff Meacham was a grade A prick.
Right.
And that is why MJF is our scumbag.
That poor little boy watched that show. He was just into his double digits time on this planet. That little boy's mind had not been formulated into anything more than a teenager, not a preteen. It is my responsibility that sweet little Jewish boy that sang on the Rosie O'Donnell show is a grade A scumbag. And you know what, folks? Let me tell you something. You're goddamn right. It's my fault. I own the fuck out of that.
Jeff turned him into an asshole.
I did. It's all my fault. And you're welcome, AEW Galaxy. You're welcome, wrestling fandom. But I digress. Max is Superstar of the Year.
Y'all make some very valid points here. You know, but when I think about Superstar, I don't just think about in the ring. I think about out of the ring as well. I think about the public image. I think about the red carpets. I think about the media press, the Make-A-Wishes. And there's one person on this list that I see doing all that stuff more than any other. And that's the American Nightmare. The American Nightmare is the man who gives his belt to a kid at ringside every time he comes to the ring. You know, the American Nightmare is the one that's out there promoting. Because he knows what the business is all about. Because of who his brother was, who his daddy was. I think I read a stat somewhere, and I don't know if it's accurate. If Statboy is watching, he can fact check this and report back on Sports Bar. But I read somewhere where Steen has had the same amount or more matches this year than Roman Reigns.
That's
Think about that for a moment.
Yep, I've seen that multiple times. It's legit. I've checked it
Think
myself.
about that for a moment. Yeah.
Awful.
55, 56-year-old Steen, who's a part-timer at best in AEW, in the decline of his career as he retires with Showtime for the last time at Revolution, has had more matches than our undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Steen isn't nominated for Superstar of the Year, but Roman is.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there.
I mentioned no DQ bias earlier. I'm not trying to stir the shit, but it is what it is, folks.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there are 5 WWE superstars here and 1 AEW superstar is dumbfounding to me. And I'm not even AEW's biggest supporter. Hell, you tune in and watch me on For the Love of Wrestling, especially for the weekend shows, and I talk so much shit about Rampage and Collision. I talk honesty.
Yeah,
but I talk shit. But how is Orange Cassidy not nominated?
How about consistency? Jesus.
Seriously. Orange Cassidy with the International Championship has been Gunther with the IC title for AEW.
Yep.
And Orange Cassidy isn't even there.
Nope.
So my pick is going to be Cody, just because, like I said, I think of more than just in ring. Yeah, there's in-ring performance. Yeah, there's wins and losses. Yeah, there's connection with the crowd. And, you know, like Walter pointed out, you know, Seth and Cody have the crowd fucking singing their songs.
Yes.
But then there's the outside the ring too. And I feel like Cody excels in that area, whereas the other 5 fall short in that area.
That's a good point.
Female Superstar of the Year. We've got Mommy in the first position because, of course, Mommy is always on top. We've got Io Sky, Timeless, Tony Storm, the Queen, Charlotte Flair. We've got the darkened Julia Hart, and the EST of the WWE, Bianca Belair. Okay. Well, there's one person I can completely throw out of here right out the gate. And I think everybody knows who it is.
Charlotte Flair. Yeah.
And mainly because after she lost her match to Rhea, she took one of her Roman Reigns hiatuses.
No, she did.
So she hasn't even been around the whole year. And then at SmackDown, she got injured. And God knows how long she's going to be out of action with the injury.
Right.
You know, again, my disdain for Charlotte is well known, but you never wish an injury like that on people. The only person I could think of that I would wish an injury like that on would be the Young Bucks, because, blowing their knees out means they can't do super kicks anymore, and darn, there goes half their arsenal. Hell, there goes 98% of their arsenal, if we're being honest. But I digress. Still, I wouldn't wish that upon them.
No.
But yeah, so I throw Charlotte out there because a good quarter of the year at least, she wasn't even around.
Right.
And now she's out for the last month. Hard to make that superstar of the year. And she did nothing other than put Rhea over at Mania in a classic match.
Yes.
She's done nothing all year.
Agreed.
Thank you. So we can get Charlotte out of here.
I just made the graphic. I'm a nominator.
I know.
I would have nominated her in the first friggin' place, if I'm being 100% honest. That's NoDQ Galaxy's bad again.
Io Sky. I love Io. But both her tag title reign with Dakota and her world title reign have been pretty forgettable.
Yes.
She is very much that CM Punk World Heavyweight Champion, Jack Swagger. She is that champion that's there but isn't really the champion because there's bigger people on the card that we got to give matches to. And it sucks for Io, but it's the facts.
It is.
The storyline doesn't even center around Io and somebody. It centers around Damage Control as a whole, or the Bailey on the outs, and Io is just a player within the angle. She's not even the focal point of her own story. Sorry. Here's where I'm really going to get some hate mail. Mommy. I love me some Mommy. Mommy can be on top anytime she wants. But how much has she defended the championship? She's on Roman status as far as defending that title. Yeah, she's there every week. Yeah, she's a presence on TV every week. Yeah, she basically runs the Judgment Day despite what Balor, Priest, anybody else wants to say. But her title run has been lackluster. Here's a comparison that's really going to knock people for a loop. Her Raw Women's title reign is on the level of Hangman Adam Page as world champion. Said it, I mean it. Stop me when I'm telling lies. Julia Hart is on the cusp, but just not there yet. Just on the edge of greatness. There's something missing. Can't figure out what it is. But once she figures it out, she will be a superstar, and watch out. That leaves the EST and Timeless Tony, in my opinion. Bianca held the championship for 8 months of the year? Losing it at SummerSlam, which was beginning of August. Toni Storm, ever since she's been on this alteration in her gimmick that has turned her timeless, has arguably been the greatest thing that there is about AEW TV on a weekly basis. It's just so good. I'm a little bit surprised, not going to lie, that Jade Cargill isn't on here, considering her dominance in AEW and how big of a deal WWE made about signing her and making sure she was visible on TV and everything. I know she hasn't had an appearance since Halloween Havoc. But still, the fact that she reigned as champion until May, was it Double or Nothing in May? She lost the title to Stat?
Sounds right.
Sounds right, yeah.
Then had that rematch about a month later. And then came to WWE. Like, I'm surprised Jade isn't in here over Julia. But again, much like I said, as far as the males, when I think of superstar, I think of not just in ring, out of the ring. Bianca's got TV commercials. Bianca's the one that's got the Divas of Compton up there with her dancing on WrestleMania. Bianca's the one doing all the goodwill, giving back to the community, going to baseball games, football games, media appearances, the SB Awards. Bianca Belair, for me, is the female superstar of the year, with Toni coming in a very close second.
I agree with that. For the record, 17 matches for Jade this year, 16 on TV. None between Double or Nothing and that Rampage where she came back and lost to Jade again, and nothing since. So that's why she's probably not in there. Hasn't been on a televised match in over half a year. And when she did, it was the short Jade Cargill squash matches for the most part.
That's fair. But
again, her presence cannot be denied. And 2024 will be a whole different conversation. But yeah, I was going for Toni a lot in this category. And then I went back and rewatched and remembered, Bianca's year. Yeah, she was gone for a little bit. But and that's a great point by Matthew about Io need to prove herself without the faction and without those two in the picture. The category is named Female Superstar of the Year. If you go with Female Wrestler of the Year, it's a different conversation. And I understand that, Aaron doesn't make the distinction when he names these awards, but there is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason Promotion Illustrated calls it Wrestler of the Year and Woman of the Year. They're also the same thing as far as wrestler versus, superstar. There needs to be clear distinction. I've been saying that to him for years, but again, I am just but a cog in the wheel. Fairly large redheaded cog at this point, about 20 years down the line. But it's hard to deny, even now. How long are we waiting for Bianca to hit that voltage switch? It's like, you know what? I'm done with this bullshit. This treatment like this. My hubby seems to have gotten the message, and they're starting back on the right path. Maybe she needs to flip that switch. Maybe 2024 will be a different conversation for both Jade and Bianca. Maybe teamed with or paired against each other. Give me that shit for a couple months or more.
It's not gonna happen, y'all. I mean,
I know.
Everyone, we know never say never. I mean, right? CM Punk walking back into WWE.
Yeah,
but I keep trying to tell y'all, Bianca is the female Cena. You turn her heel, and you lose that entire demographic that they have built with these young girls, especially the minority and African American demographic that want to be Bianca. Hell, Alana is going to be Bianca for Natalie's party.
I know.
That is a 5-6-year-old girl, Asian, going to be Bianca Belair.
I know.
You lose that if you pull that trigger.
She definitely is the female
understand that.
She definitely is the female Cena. And the thing is, her husband in that group, they're getting cheered anyway. So what would be the point of her going heel?
Seriously. You turned the Street Profits heel, and their heel turn lasted about as long as Rey Mysterio's heel turn in WCW when he joined the Filthy Animals.
Yeah.
So I'm about ready to start a count and see how many times the Street Profits and Lashley turn heel and face over the course of the next couple of weeks. Going to start getting a Big Show tally. The question is will it rival Jeff's Pictures with Mickey Mouse tally?
No one's touching that. That's Goldberg streak level as far as numbers. And no, I'm not exaggerating, people. On my Goldberg streak, I'm not exaggerating that number. It's damn near 200. Okay,
jeez.
I'm a fan. Cast member or not, still a fan.
Yeah, see, I think Jade as part of the faction is more believable.
I don't disagree with that.
But it's not going to happen with Bianca.
I'm not
At
saying
least not
Bianca,
until the well dries up.
I'm not saying Bianca needs to fully turn and or join Bobby and the Profits. If she's not going to fully flip the switch, she definitely needs to flicker it. Because something's not happening. Something's not clicking.
She needs that edge to her, you're saying?
No, she does. You're absolutely right. Before you go to the match of the year, I'd just like to say something very quickly. This is a Jeff Meacham only opinion because I'm a Cowboys fan. So let me just get real quick. I love Maria Kanellis. I've been openly critical of the Briscoes. May Jay rest in peace even now. But the Cowboys were dim boys before I think either Briscoe was born. Get the fuck over it, Twitter. Seriously. Carry on, sir.
Yeah, for me,
it's a thread on Twitter, for fuck's sake.
I'm with you guys. It's got to be Bianca. If Tony had this timeless Tony since January, like since the beginning of the year, it would be her for me. But it's just so recent that I can't give it to her.
No,
so I go Bianca.
Yeah,
I completely agree with that, and I feel like they fumbled the ball in Hollywood. They had that golden opportunity to utilize the legitimate Hollywood backdrop for vignettes and shit, and they failed.
Yep.
And you can't
really
tell me that it was because Tony didn't have the money or the resources to tap into it.
It's bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
After
Like,
the
come
shit
on.
you can do for free. Go into the Hollywood sign, free. Walking the Walk of Fame, free. Hollywood and Highland, where the Oscars are held, free.
Jesus.
Universal Studios, going inside, probably would have cost them a few bucks. Outside, where that globe is spinning, free. They had such opportunities, and they fumbled big time. If they had capitalized on the Hollywood backdrop for Full Gear, I might have given it to her, even with as short term as she's been timeless.
They missed two golden opportunities. They missed that, and when it was Tony Khan's birthday and they were competing with WWE, how did you not do the Happy Birthday, Mr. President, with her as Marilyn Monroe to Tony Khan? Like, how did you miss that?
Yeah, they were here all week, Jay. I know, because we were talking about which events we were all going to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I ended up where I ended up. People ended up where they ended up. There's a lot of Hollywood they could have covered in the week they were here.
Yep. And they chose not to.
They did, and I think that is what ultimately will cost Tony Storm this fan vote. By the way, Rhea Ripley had over 33 title defenses this year, but very few of them were on television. That's why it's noticeable, unfortunately. She did defend the title quite a bit. It was in darker house show matches, and the matches she had on TV were pretty much dog shit. When you think about that match with Natty, that wasn't even a match. When you think about Zoe Stark, I think, was the one match other than the 5-way victory she had in Saudi Arabia. It was like, all right, this was good shit. But can you think of anything on television in a defense beyond the 5-way in Saudi Arabia and the match with Zoe? You kind of went, wow. No, that's the problem. And again, we're not trying to talk about match quality over, overall presence, but a champion, part of a champion's presence is defending that title and showcasing the fact that you are a champion. Right, Roman?
Mm-hmm.
Rhea just didn't do it for me as a champion this year. Had she won at WrestleMania and then been defended on the regular, different conversation.
And the main event of the year-end awards, but not open mic night. We still got 2 more topics to discuss.
Jesus Christ, we're going 2 hours.
Match of the year.
Okay, this goes.
The nominees are the 60-minute Iron Man match between Bryan Danielson and MJF from Revolution, the triple threat for the Intercontinental title from WrestleMania, Ospreay versus Omega from Forbidden Door, Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. from WrestleDream, Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes from NXT No Mercy, and Full Gear Texas Death Match Swerve versus Hangman. Okay. Swerve versus Hangman is getting the fuck out of here right away. That wasn't a match. That was a fucking car wreck.
Yeah. That was a televised bloodletting.
That was a legitimate match can go fuck themselves.
But okay, again,
it's my opinion.
No, I understand that. But are we talking about, rating the technical masterpiece of it, or was it a spectacle? Was it a match that made everybody talk?
No.
Okay.
It made me want to go in the bathroom and vomit.
Me too.
Watching them drinking blood out of each other.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Anybody that thinks this was a legitimate match can go fuck themselves.
All right. I'll try to figure out the configuration when I get to the bathroom.
Because you can have hardcore matches and not go to that extreme.
That I agree with.
The dog collar match as a prime example.
Yep. No, I don't disagree with your opinion of the severity of it. Just playing devil's advocate, guy. No, I'm not playing the guy in the mask because I can't fit. I'm too fat.
Plus, I think it's only here as a recency bias. It was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's true.
Likewise, unfortunately, as amazing as Danielson and MJF is, I don't remember a whole lot about it. It was so early in the year. And that's a problem because everybody's saying it's the greatest Iron Man match of all time. And it very well could be. I'm not willing to dispute that one. But I can't really remember a whole lot of it. Omega Ospreay, kind of the same thing. I remember it being good, but I don't remember a whole lot about it. That leaves me with the WrestleMania Triple Threat, Danielson Sabre, and No Mercy. I am going to eliminate my NXT No Mercy, as great as that match was, because when it comes down to those three, I definitely feel it's the weaker of the three. But the fact that it held out that long for me definitely shows what I've been saying, and people need to stop sleeping on NXT. Those two had a banner. Dragunov ended Carmelo's reign. Melo's been going a whole other direction since then, and Dragunov has been virtually untouchable. I think I'm going to go with WrestleDream. Danielson versus Sabre. over the triple threat from WrestleMania. As huge of a coup as it was for Gunther to defeat not one but two former world heavyweight champions in the same match on the biggest stage en route to retaining the Intercontinental Championship, Danielson and Sabre just gave me more for my money, I think. Walter?
Yeah, the Swerve and Hangman, yeah, that's just like I don't know how the hell they got up there. Yeah, you're right, guys. It's recency bias, and it's just maybe that might have been Mick Foley's type favorite match, but not our shit. It's just
nope.
Watching you on Watch Along, Jeff almost lost his lunch watching that match.
It's like,
No
as much
mercy.
as I joke about wanting to barf over the coverage that Charlotte did, I legitimately wanted to hurl with that match.
Yeah, there's like vampire drinking blood stuff. Just it was just bloodbath. That wasn't really a match as much as it was a fight. We could put it like that. That resembled like some weird bar room fight that just went too far. WrestleMania match was a banger, but it's the stage. It's WrestleMania, but it just maybe if that had been WWE Championship and not the IC title, it could have been up there more for me because the three men involved, they're awesome. It was a banger, but I'm glad Drew got his credibility back. But after singing and doing what he did in England, he lost a little bit credibility for me. So like beating him after that in WrestleMania was like, oh well, who is he right now? After he lost to Roman in damn near not his hometown because he's from Scotland, but damn near his home continent, we'll say. And then sat there and sang with a boxing champ and just ruined it. Like again, we all have our theory that wasn't supposed to be aired and somehow it got aired because I really feel like that was not supposed to be on TV because you really ruined Drew after that.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta go with JJ. It's got to be Wrestle Dream because them two went at it, and that's technical wrestling at its finest. And you, me, Noah, we all love technical wrestling, and it's like. These two went at it, and anytime, I almost said Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson is involved. You know you're going to get a hell of a match, and just look, he has two of the nominees in this category alone. So you can't deny Danielson. It's got to be that Wrestle Dream match. It just does it for me. Those two had a hell of a, and I'm not the AEW guy. You guys know it. So for me, this is hella praise for me to. Put this match as match of the year, but Danielson was the guy, and then Ospreay they just did it. They did their thing, and so I got to go with you, JJ. It's hard to argue against it.
Jeff,
first of all, let me say kudos to our boy Brian for being on here twice.
Absolutely,
love our boy Brian Danielson. No secret there to the multiverse on us. For me, match of the year comes down to matches as much as it comes down to story. One of these matches had an unbelievable story to go with the match. The other match was a Meltzer popper, but no real story behind it other than that's the reason why, because they knew it would be a Meltzer popper. For me, it comes down to the Brian's two matches, and that's not a bias. That's just how good they both were. And if I'm being 100% honest, as much as this is going to make me want to get out the sunglasses and put on the purple NoDQ review shirt, I'm going with Danielson and Max over Danielson and Sabre Jr. The story behind it made it as important to me as the match itself.
That's fair.
And people, you talk about me reacting to the Texas Death Match. I was reacting more passionately to Brian and Max because of my friendship with Brian, not even knowing how big a fan Max was at the time. Probably would have been a lot worse, if I'm being honest. But Brian and Max set the tone for the year. I will be very surprised if Bryan and Okada don't set the tone for 2024 and walk out of there and pull Shawn Michaels and go, okay, the rest of you 362 days follow that. Or 300, God damn, I can't do math today. 362 days, y'all follow that shit. They're wrestling on the 4th day of this coming year.
Yep.
And they will set the tone. With all respect to New Year's Evil, Wrestle Kingdom and Okada Danielson will set the frickin' tone. And it's because Bryan Danielson, almost 10 years after he was told no more, is still having matches like this. The guy, if he's not the greatest pure wrestler of our generation, thank you. Oh my God, it's so disappointing. Yeah, I agree. That was a damn good tag team match this year. Again, you can't say it's a no DQ bias against AEW because half the category was AEW. More than half.
More than half.
2/3 of it was AEW this year. It just, again, I think the shock of the Texas Death Match overruled anybody's competent AEW mind. I'm not disagreeing with you that it was just too damn much. But for some people, that's what it is. That's professional wrestling, damn it. It's like, no, that's bloodletting for the sake of bloodletting. That's unnecessary.
Yeah, that's
However,
garbage.
It is. It's garbage. And I think that if they toned it back just a smidge, it wouldn't even be an argument.
No. Honestly, I probably would have been okay with it if he hadn't drank the blood pouring from his forehead.
That was
what really killed me for that match and took me out of it.
Yep, I agree.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, it was.
I could have dealt with everything else.
Yeah. There comes, and JJ, you and I talk about this and our lives outside of this window. There's a line you don't cross. There's a stuff you don't drop in the living room and scare people when they're trying to tape. That line was crossed with Swerve and Adam, unfortunately. Yep. But yeah, Bryan for me was just match of the year guy. What a surprise with Bryan Danielson, right? If he's not the greatest pure wrestler of this generation, yes, AJ, I'm even talking about you. I don't know who is. I don't. Well, we got through 2 hours talking about the NoDQ.com Year End Awards. I'm surprised we did that as much as we did, but we've still got a long way to go, guys. We've got 2 more pretty meaty topics, if we're being honest here.
Yes. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to get into our thoughts as to who MVPs are for the maiden companies. We will be right back. One second, gentlemen.
Go ahead.
So we are back. Okay, one more second. Jeff, talk for a second.
I'll be talking for us. No, I'm just kidding. Again, we've got it was one of those, we wanted to keep things light today. We wanted to give something people. I mean, I didn't expect to go 2 hours. And that's not even all the awards NoDQ has every year. Keep in mind also, we've still got catchphrase of the year. It's going to go up for NoDQ. We've still got underutilized superstar, I believe, is one of the categories every year. I think Aaron took out the negative connotation awards because they're just a negative connotation. So like no more like overutilized or worst match or, whatever. But last year, let me see what they had here. It's going to go here. Scroll down and see what it was. Announcer, we did that already. We did announcer, breakout, catchphrase of the year is still coming. Which, again, how do you go against something like it's been on it's on everybody's list. What everybody's saying. Faction of the year will be probably a very divisive vote. You talk about the Bloodline. You talk about the Judgment Day. Talk about the Don Callis family. So definitely a more stuff to come. Headline of the year. Again, we're going to talk about a major headline here at the end of the show. But, man, headline of the year. Vince McMahon coming back. The sale of WWE and the merger of TKO as a result. CM Punk coming back. There's so many major news stories that happen this year. When they do get those categories up, it'll probably be before Talk Wrestling on Thursday, because I think we only got a couple of categories left. So, theme song of the year. Again, another popular babyface and heel of the year, both of those categories. Feud of the year, overall feud of the year, not just match. Most underutilized, talker of the year, title change of the year, and weekly show of the year. Those are all still to come from NoDQ. So, we will definitely get into those, I'm sure, before the year is over on our various outlets. So stay tuned for that, kids.
So the next thing I wanted to bring up, for some lighthearted fare, kind of goes back to one of the awards, and talking about the breakout star. I want to talk a little bit about who we think is the MVP for the three main companies throughout the course of the year.
Okay.
We're not going to break this down and include, Ring of Honor, NXT. We're not separating WWE into Raw and SmackDown. It's just WWE, AEW, and Impact.
Okay.
Who do you feel are the MVPs for the three promotions? Walter, I'm going to go to you first here.
All right. Believe it, I got, people might not agree with my TNA one, but for female, it's Trinity. Like her matches and everything, how she just popped into the company and fit right in, and we all know they have the best women's division. But for male, it's B-Ball Mike for me. Like, his matches have been awesome. Everything he's done, and people, like, I hope it becomes his year next year. Like, and I see him carrying the TNA World Championship, because he deserves it. Some of those matches, just the moves he does in the ring. Now, for AEW, how the hell do you not pick MJF? Like, MJF has been, and this isn't a Jeff Meacham network because I'm part of it and everything biased before people accuse it, but MJF has been involved with so many storylines. It's just, he's put that company on his back. Literally, he said it. Like, who else? He said it in one of his heel promos, like last year. Like, I put this company on my back when he left or whatever, before the whole devil situation. He was like, no one has put it on my back like I have, and it was true. And some of the best promos have truth mixed in it. So MJF has had it. WWE is a little harder because you got Seth Rollins, who's pretty much had Raw on his back the whole time. You could say Judgment Day as a unit have been the MVP, saving things, involved in everything. Cody Rhodes, like you said, outside the ring, inside the ring, he could carry. WWE's a little hard on that one. So for females, maybe Rhea, because the whole thing with Mommy and Dom has just been awesome on TV. So Rhea for women, and then men. Man, you got so much. You got Gunther, you got Seth, you got. I'm gonna say Seth. He's just been the most consistent. Made that new world title feel like it actually means something, because we all were like, it's just an alternative to Roman's title because he's not there. A lot of us, and myself included, have doubted what that title was gonna mean. And Seth said, hold my beer, and just put on these matches, and he made that title. Yes, he's had rivalry like Nakamura and people we didn't believe would beat him, but damn it, he still has made that title feel like it's not second to Roman. It's right up there equal. It's the Raw title, the one that people should be gunning for. And then now you got Punk coming back, and if he goes for it, it's going to feel super important now. So I think it's hard to argue against Seth. There are other people because you got Cody and all these people, but it's got to be Seth for me because he's been in there week in, week out. It's Seth.
Okay. Jeff?
Oh, yeah. It's again, it's hard to argue against Max and AEW. I mean, there's just no way around that. He's been the consistent presence. He's been wrestling every kind of match, doing every kind of story, getting himself in shit whether he means to or not. And often Max does mean to, but sometimes he actually doesn't. For Impact, this one's harder for me. It's probably going to be a little bit of a hot take, but the most valuable player within Impact Wrestling is the man that has led the way. I'm going to go with Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore has led this company at a time where the general wrestling public does not give a shit. That's unfortunate, and I think that will change with TNA rebranding. If I have to pick wrestlers, Motor City Machine Guns. These guys have been on top of the heap as singles champions all year, for the majority of the year, excuse me. They've been consistent as far as the E. My goodness. Lots of choices. I would say, there's a line for me between most valuable player and utility player. And I think they kind of go hand in hand in that, your most valuable guy is the guy you can use for utility. You put him anywhere and he shines. Max has done that in AEW. Scott D'Amore as the leader of Impact Wrestling and the Motor City Machine Guns as those two champions have been those guys in Impact. For me, it comes down to that 1 week of television where this guy was on every program and shined across the board. Send your hate tweets to @_Jeff Meacham. My MVP of WWE for 2023 is Dominic Mysterio. That kid has just impressed the shit out of me all year. I didn't want to like him. Still don't want to like him. But I can't help my damn self.
That was
kid's just that good. The kid's
he
just
is that
good.
damn good.
It's ridiculous how good he is.
And in only a span of 2-3 years, it's amazing.
When you think about where he was at WrestleMania last year, kind of lumped into a tag team, whatever it was, his matchup with his dad at WrestleMania, people were clamoring at concessions to make sure they got back on time to watch that match. Was that important? I was lamenting myself for the fucking beer line being as long as it was. I just want to watch this match, and these beers aren't that cheap. Can we? But I know if we got a line and never get back into it. SoFi Stadium, I'm throwing that shit out. Tom's been just, you put him on Raw, he'll work with anybody. You put him on NXT, he's worked with everybody. You put him on SmackDown, you put a mic in his hand, he's gonna get a reaction. The poor boy will not even be allowed to speak. That's getting X-Pac heat without actually wanting him to go away. That is a utility player. That is a valuable commodity on your roster.
Yeah, I don't know whether to be happy because we agree or be pissed because you took everything I was just about to fucking say, Jeff.
That's fine. Let me go first on here sometimes.
I had a feeling you guys were going to pick Dom. That's why I went with Seth, because I didn't want it to be that unanimous.
I totally feel like Dom is that dude, for real. Dom has risen to every challenge.
I see what you did there, risen.
You mentioned how MJF has taken every bit of chicken shit they give him and taken into turn into chicken salad. Dominic has turned freaking chicken shit into filet mignon.
Right? He doesn't have to at his age and his progression in his career. He doesn't have to be that guy yet.
He's only 3 years in. And to be that young in the business, and granted, he grew up in the business, so is he really that young to it? But as a performer, to be that young in the business and to main event Raw, NXT, and SmackDown in the same week, Undertaker can't say that shit. Austin can't say that shit. Rock, Triple H, none of the GOATs can say that they main evented Raw, SmackDown, and NXT in the same week. None of them. Dominic Mysterio can.
Again, for fairness comparison, if we're going to do that, nobody's main evented Raw, ECW, and SmackDown the same week. Very few people outside of that echelon did the Raw, SmackDown in the same week. When SmackDown first premiered, you had the Rock, Triple H, and Stone Cold Undertakers, but it was few and far between.
The closest you can come is fucking Rick Rude appearing on Raw and Nitro on the same night in ECW that week.
It's fair.
That's the closest you can come.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that shit? We won't talk about it because I don't want me and Jeff spine to curve. But that's how long ago it was.
There are 2 stars that appeared in featured, heavily promoted segments on all 3 shows in a week. The other one is CM Punk, Muckerfuthers. Okay? I'm just saying. It's CM Punk being back in WWE. But that's recency bias.
Yeah. Dominic is definitely WWE's MVP for me.
Absolutely.
For Impact, I agree with Walter. It's Speedball Mike Bailey.
Okay.
You know, and again, I know I don't tune in every week, but I look at the exterior stuff when I pick him. And again, I come back to that 3 matches in one day WrestleMania weekend for 3 different promotions.
Absurd.
Just nuts. For the women for Impact, I'm sorry, Walter, I disagree with you there. I go with the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah.
She started out the year as champion, lost it to Mickey. When Mickey got injured, she picked the ball up, ran with it till it was time to give it to Trinity. Bangers every time she steps in the ring. I'm sure last night was no exception.
Nope.
Contract expires in 21 days, and she's going to explore free agency. But with what we're going to talk to in our main event, how long will she be exploring free agency? And could a deal with the other side be coming sooner rather than later? I still think the odds are that even if she is going to explore free agency, doesn't mean she can't make a one-off appearance in the Rumble. Just to see what that response is when she comes out.
Like I said during the pre-show, Jay, there is unfinished business with her in Hardcore Country. And Mickey's husband runs SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Walter, I did mention Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin as if I have to pick a wrestler, not go with Scott D'Amore. So I did pick.
I know. I meant pick though.
Yeah, those guys are. I mean, again, you talk about Bryan Danielson. Those guys should not be competing at the level they're competing at as far in their career as they're going, and they're the world and X Division champions.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Over in AEW, you know, you can tout Max all you want, and that's great.
Oh, okay, hang on.
But again, I think it comes back to Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
What he did with that international championship this year, you know, and especially during that time when the AEW World Championship seemed to be less important because of the Ring of Honor tag titles being held by Max as well. Like, you knew Dynamite was starting, Jane was playing, and here came Orange Cassidy, man. He was going to start the show, kick it off right, get the crowd into it. People may say what they want to say about him being goofy and pockets, but you can't deny the fact that Orange Cassidy had a hell of a year and deserves that MVP status for AEW, in my personal opinion. The female side of things, and I hope Noah watches this back. I really do. Because I'm going to give it to his girl, Statlander. With everything that was going on in the main women's title picture, which the fucking AEW Women's Championship is bounced around about as much as the WWF Championship in 2000. But with everything going on in that picture, man, Chris Statlander took the title from Jade, kept it stabilized, passed it to Julie when it was her time, and with everything that could have been crumbling around them with Jade's departure, she just stepped right into that column and, four pillar, if you will. She held that division up, was going to refuse to let it fall around her. Tony made a decision to wait for her to get healthy and get back, and she was going to show him that it was the right decision to make. All right. Nobody else has any other comments?
I'll just say Christian gets an honorable mention for AEW.
Yes.
I don't think he's the MVP, but he definitely gets an honorable mention.
If Christian had been running on this level from January 1st,
exactly,
he probably would very easily have been my pick.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't really get this ball rolling until Luchasaurus won TNT Championship.
Yep.
Which was June, I want to say, so mid-year.
Yeah.
Christian Cage won the championship in June.
Yes. Ha ha ha. We play the ha ha for Noah, but damn it, let's be accurate when we're trying to actually talk about awards and shit.
Well, if we're going to talk about awards, hell, we should have a Father of the Year award on both sides, both this category and the previous category. Christian Cage wins hands down, by God.
Absolutely.
Ask Shayna Wayne.
But yeah, I mean, if Christian had been on that roll from before the point where Luchasaurus won the title, I think it would be a fair assessment. But Orange Cassidy, man, has just carried the division in the championship. And then when he lost it to Mox, which he never should have, they had to fucking fumble to get it back to him. Because they realized how badly they fucked up. Because Mox got injured. Then Phoenix got injured. And then they had to get the belt back to him. And he's held it consistently ever since he got it back. We're in December. I'd say close to 10 months of this year, he's been that champion.
It's true.
So. All right. One more quick commercial. Take a look at the updated of all the upcoming PLEs and pay-per-views that are going to be coming up. Kicking off with Final Battle this coming Friday and all the way through the Bash in Berlin in August. And then we will get into our main event topic. Do not go anywhere.
3, 2, 1.
As we have affectionately dubbed it, the Weesa Gonna Die Tour.
all the wrestling, and sports entertainment. I hope I did you justice, Noah.
A lot of sports entertainment graphics on that shit I had to make today. Lordy. WWE needs to just pump the fucking brakes for just 1 week. I beg you.
Really? Just one?
Just 1 week. 1 week. Let me be, Mucker Brothers. Let me be. Anyway.
So the main event, it was announced a couple of days ago that Endeavor has made a deal to partner to present to us the TNA Plus streaming service. For those of you that don't realize what this means, because it took a few minutes for people in our group chat to realize what this means.
Right?
Endeavor, as in the same company that just partnered with WWE to create TKO, is now going to be presenting Impact Plus, a streaming site. So the $1 million question now becomes, what happens here? Is it a conflict of interest with a company having two of the major companies as brands within, even if it is just a deal for streaming and not, ownership? Does this open the door for a more forbidden door? We all come back to the fact that we had Mickie James in the Women's Rumble, coming out as Knockouts champion to Hardcore Country back in 2022. What can this mean on that front? Are we looking at something along the lines of what World Wrestling Federation and ECW had, where we can have a little talent exchange here and there for a year at a time, and maybe send I don't know who would be a good example. Maybe Shotzi Blackheart. We'll throw her out there, since love me some Shotzi, but she doesn't do a whole lot on the main roster. She's kind of a bit player. Send her down to TNA for a year, and maybe in return they get the quintessential diva, Giselle Shaw. And we do a little talent swap. You've got ABC down there, their little Bullet Club contingent with Ace Austin and Chris Bay. We've got the OC in WWE with Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles. Can't remember the last time I saw Gallows and Anderson on TV, if we're being honest.
Okay, that's why I said, are they still a thing?
I think it was around the time that Carl Anderson went to Japan to defend his championship,
Wow.
But so there's a lot of different ways this could be construed, and a lot of different sides to this coin. I'm curious to know everybody's thoughts on it, because bigger than, well, maybe not bigger than WWE selling, but bigger than Punk's return for sure, this could be a huge story for the end of the year. Jeff, you've been around this for 20 plus years. What do you think about this news?
So there's a good point in the chat room about the fact that when WWE Network launched and then they had to choose a new partner for the actual streaming part of it, as far as the platform they originally gone with was not going to be viable, Endeavor did step up on a global scale, and they are and have been the streaming partner for WWE Network even before the colorful bird stepped in and took over here in the United States. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's okay, Endeavor's going to help Impact Plus, help TNA, help get their proverbial shit together, because if I'm being honest, what I've seen of Impact Plus is great. The content on there is just stuff that made me a fan of TNA and a fan of Impact Wrestling for as long as I've been. But the actual breakdown of the website or the platform is very sketchy. So I'm glad that a company with the chops of Endeavor is going to be stepping in. Having said that, it's definitely a talkable point, because you've got the parent company Endeavor, who is in 51% ownership of WWE, has merged WWE with UFC to form TKO Group Holdings. So under the same umbrella, you've got TNA on a streaming platform now with a company they were in partnership for a while with, UFC, through Spike TV. You've got that partnership back together in theory. And then, of course, you have WWE and TNA under the same parent stream, which is, even as recently as 2 years ago, mind-boggling.
And UFC.
As I say, UFC's there too, like I said. So you've got two of the big wrestling companies of the last 2 decades, a little bit more, under the same umbrella. You've got UFC in the mix as well. First thing I thought of was, how soon can they have Dale Oliver remix AJ's Get Ready to Fly theme for me? I need this back in my life. Because when I had the gall to say AJ Styles has been underutilized WWE, I went, why is this an argument? Injured or not, when he's not been WWE champion, it's kind of like, okay, now what? So the crossover possibilities are just ridiculous. Also, there was a great point brought up in the group chat and over the course of the week. TNA in 2024 is very much like ECW in 1995, 96, 97. They've got that following that they can do no wrong by. Those people have stuck by them for over 20 years. But they're not a power.
Yeah.
They're just not. ECW had that following that would literally follow Paul Heyman into a warehouse in Waco, drink the Kool-Aid and the capsule, and go night-night forever. Okay? TNA has that strong a following even now. But ECW didn't have the financial chops to get it over the hump. TNA's there now, from my perspective. I don't know. I'm not a businessman. Don't know all the details. Don't care to know, quite frankly. I got to have shit on my brain as it is. Limited capacity up here. We all know this. If WWE and TNA can have that kind of relationship without the gaga that went along with the WWF ECW relationship in 1997, 98, 99, TNA can survive forever. And when, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when the inevitable fall of AEW comes, that roster can be integrated into both companies, WWE and TNA. And then we have an unbelievable major league promotion. We have an unbelievable developmental promotion in NXT. And we have a company that we can turn to when we don't want to see the same WWE gimmicks all the time. As a wrestling fan, as a MJF dub journalist, I'm not a journalist, Max, but I love you anyway. I'm here for every bit of that shit. Every friggin' bit of it. Because it gives me stuff to enjoy as a fan, and it gives me something to seek my typing fingers and my voice into on the regular. This announcement, this time of the year, as TNA gets ready to relaunch on a full scale, could very well be the straw that stirs the drink in 2024.
I can't say that I disagree. I mean, I look at this as another huge move for TNA. And again, I'm not exactly sure where this road is going to lead for them. The access deal is still garbage.
Oh, it is. Without doubt.
But if this merge can help them get a better TV deal, then AEW needs to watch out.
Yeah.
And people aren't going to like to hear that, but it's the truth. Because TNA shouldn't have survived 21 years.
No.
But every year it manages to. Walter? Yeah, we lost Walter.
Oops.
There he goes.
I clicked the wrong button. Yeah, TNA is really that little engine that could. Just when you think they just keep popping back up. They're the Jason Voorhees of the wrestling industry. You think you killed them, and then boom, they pop back up. But in terms of wrestling news, this is the way you end a year. We had all these news. We got Punk, and now here comes this. And I mean, if you're giving me some roster mergers, give me Speedball Mike Bailey versus Carmelo Hayes on an NXT event. Like, give them some of that. Like, I'll take that I'll buy that for $1, as they say. Like, geez. Like the and then you just mentioned that the remixes of the music, if they can own it. I made a joke like years ago that Vince would buy TNA as a joke, and pretty much this is the equivalent of it. Like, now you're under the same umbrella. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I can't wait to see what it develops in. And maybe it is dangling the carrot in front of some networks to get a better TV deal, because now they see how important TNA is, that they got an Endeavor backing, and you got UFC backing them, and WWE's gonna have to do some kind of partner, whether it's business wise, music, own something. Hopefully, we can see some Impact people. Just imagine Trinity finds her way back to WWE because of this, and just smack some sense into Jimmy. Like, you need to be working with your brother. We all wanted her to be part of the bloodline. What if she's the voice of reason to say, stop this shit? You don't need to be fighting your brother. You guys are the Usos, and she's the reason they reunite or something. Like, there's so many possibilities. Like,
see, my only concern with something like that, though, is how many people went to both AEW and Impact to get away from WWE, to try to find their own way and prove their own worth. And then for, something like this, to Safet's point, if Endeavor buys TNA and merges it kind of into the surroundings, how many of those talents are going to be happy being back under the WWE contingent umbrella, even if it's not WWE, primary, and it's Endeavor who owns WWE. So of course, Vince and Triple H and Nick Khan have board positions. So their hands will eventually end up being in that Kool-Aid. You look at a guy like Bully Ray, a guy like Tommy Dreamer. You look at people like Trinity, who walked out of the company because the way that the women were being treated. Granted, Sasha walked out, Trinity followed her. But still, is Trinity going to want to go back? You know what I mean? Is Bully going to want to go back? Is Tommy going to want to go back? And then you look at some of the talents that Impact has, and then you think about the way the alliance was bloated with those bullshit talents. I don't watch, so I can't really speak on their skill or ability, but what's going to happen to a guy like Joe Hendry or Jake something? Or PCO, who's having the fucking ride of his career. What's going to happen to these guys? What's going to happen to the Rascals? Wasn't one of them fired from WWE?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, granted, that same one that was fired is dating Gigi Dolan, so maybe there's the possibility of smoothing a bridge there, but it's just going to be interesting. What's going on, Matt? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Matthew says that with the fact that WWE wants Okada and Okada doing a show in TNA the same day that this was announced really makes me want to have a WWE TNA crossover and for Okada to show up. I mean, Royal Rumble's around the corner. Could you imagine if that pin drops at the Royal Rumble and Kazuchika Okada is in the Rumble?
I would want James to make sure he's recording Noah's reaction, because
I was gonna say I would demand there is medical personnel in Noah Foster's house. I'm telling you that shit right now.
Yeah, the possibility.
Goddamn, that boy would lose it.
Hell yeah, he would. The possibilities, man. And then these news just so close to the Rumble is just, because then you start thinking all the Rumble surprises, all the thing, and they haven't been doing as many surprises in the most recent years. They've had a few sprinkled in there, but not like they used to do. Not like what Rumble used to be known for.
Right.
But this is a completely different year. You've got so many people that are coming up for free agency.
Mm-hmm.
True. True.
You very much, like I've said before, you have the possibility, a very real possibility, of Deonna Purrazzo, Julia, Jade Cargill, and I forget who the fourth one was, Jeff. If you remember, throw it out there, because I made that bet with Greg.
Camille,
thank you, from NWA. You have a very real possibility that all four of those women could be in the Women's Rumble this year. Because Jade is signed, hasn't debuted yet. Camille's contract is up. Deanna's is up. And Julia's is up. We know how much Triple H loves Japan wrestling. Just look at Damage Control right now. We know how much Triple H respects the National Wrestling Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And Deonna Purrazzo has been there before. But she was not the virtuoso in there. She was there before. And look at what she's done to herself.
And if all four of them, Noah would really lose his shit.
You have the very real possibility for all four of those people to show up.
It's crazy.
Right? And then on the male side of thing, if we are to be believed of the bidding war for 2024, and he hasn't already signed, which rumors say that Max has signed a new deal already.
Right.
You've still got the possibility of MJF coming next year. You've got people like Dr. Britt Baker who are very, very unhappy, supposedly, based on their social media performances, with the TV time that they're getting. The fact that she's had 0 minutes of live promo time, and Christian Cage had 11 minutes the other day. The entire year, Britt hasn't been able to cut a live promo. And she's supposed to be one of the pillars of the company. You've got the Hardy Boys who seem to want out because they're not getting booked and being used properly, which, again, part of that is Jeff's reliability. How closely do we want to get the ball rolling on a Hardy Boys just to have Jeff Hardy fuck up again?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, they should be getting utilized more than they are.
No, that's true.
Even if they're just being stepping stones for the other tag teams in the division. I think I maybe see them once a month on my TV.
Yeah.
But I fucking see Dalton Castle and the boys more than I see the Hardy Boys. That's fucking ridiculous.
No, you're right.
I think I've seen Abaddon more in the last month than I've seen the Hardy Boys.
which I'm okay with, but because I like Abaddon, but still. It's my cruise buddy.
Yeah, Matthew says if Okada showed up at the Rumble, Meltzer is going to be on life support.
I'm okay with that.
I was going to say, again, I don't wish no ill on anybody, but how many people would be running to that bed to pull the plug if Meltzer was on life support?
Pull the plug and charge your cell phone.
Yeah. Decharge his cell phone and rip out his vocal cords at the very least. Break his thumb so he can't type. Dumbass. He's a necessary idiot, as Bischoff called him. I stand by that 100%. God bless Eric. Idiot. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm good.
But I mean, it's just a weird world that we live in where the first time in forever, this is a very real possibility. Like, dude, those 4 names in WWE, even if it was just a one-off appearance in that Rumble, would get a huge reaction. And the other thing that they have to think of from a businesswoman perspective is if they just use it for the one-off, what does that do to their price elsewhere?
Yep.
Like, bitch, I'm coming off of the heels of being in the Royal fucking Rumble. And I'm sitting here talking to you. What can you do for me?
Right? Exactly.
Because they've got an offer on the table for me, but I'm trying to see what you can offer me.
Hell of a negotiation tool.
Yup.
"2023 has been a hell of a year," and then we get this right at the end of it. It's crazy.
And I'm sure we will be discussing all of this and more when we get to Open Mic Night, episode 100, New Year's Eve. Holy hell.
Jay,
Yes.
I just sent you something in Messenger, if I may, since that way I don't get involved in the production side, because I promised I wouldn't today. It's a graphic I want you to put in share screen, if I may.
Okay, give me a second.
Thank you. Not counting the Bleacher Report cost, whatever they're going to charge us for AEW each month. This is what we're going to be paying if we want to watch the wrestling on TV in 2024. Because Peacock Premium Plus is $12 a month roughly. Honor Club's $10, New Japan World's $10. The breakdown for the super duper package for TNA Plus rounds out to $18, $19 a month. This is why AEW is in trouble. This right here is why AEW is in trouble on a financial point.
Even though technically Honor Club is part of AEW.
But Honor Club is a separate charge from AEW pay-per-views.
True.
This is why AEW, as a pay-per-view provider, is in trouble for sure.
Yep. Because for roughly $50, you get all those pay-per-views and PLEs.
And on that front, you get the entirety of TNA programming, because I'm pretty sure they're going to lump in that YouTube where you can watch it a half hour after the start of it into that TNA Plus package. If not, it's $1 on YouTube. So we're talking 20-ish instead. Okay. New Japan, you get the TV show, which I don't think is on American television anymore. We were talking about at my house having to break down the cable cost. I'll be like, I'll cover these. Y'all cover the rest of that shit. I'm good. Because I get my wrestling TV and everybody else pays for the rest of the TV. I can still enjoy it too.
Shoot, you should make them go halves with you on Peacock, because that's all kinds of NBC content.
Well, the basic cable package gets the NBC content everybody else wants. So, but you're right. But anyway, yeah.
But for roughly $50 a month, you get every WWE PLE a month.
Yep.
So knowing that they give at least one a month.
Yep.
You get TNA pay-per-views every month. You get New Japan content every month. Ring of Honor doesn't do a pay-per-view every month, but it's the only way you can see the TV show. Whereas AEW charges $50 per pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
we've
get 4
mentioned it
companies
before.
worth of wrestling for the same cost.
We've mentioned it before in this channel about how they need to come up with a different thing for their pay-per-views. They really do.
They need to do something. But
And again, AEW may have had the most financially successful year this year, and good on them.
Absolutely.
Because despite what everyone thinks about there, the IWC does not want AEW to fail.
No.
We just want them to grow and succeed in a way that they don't think they need to.
No.
QT Marshall quit because it was going to more of a New Japan format and away from a storytelling format. New Japan format is, this match is going to pop a crowd. We're going to book it with very little storytelling. That's what Tony's been doing.
They did it already.
But there's been a little bit of storytelling going through some of the big stuff. You've got you've got the MJF Devil thing, you've got the Christian Father thing, you've had little stories here and there, but according to QT Marshall, it's gonna go to straight up, okay, I'm gonna put you and you guys are gonna fight. Yeah, okay, go have a match. Why are we doing this? You figure it out.
That's right. You guys tell the story in the ring. Let the commentators do their job.
And it's just like, but why do I care now? And that's been one of their biggest faults as long as I've been watching, and probably even longer.
Yeah. And again, with this TNA thing, again, I don't know if we were clear or not. This isn't Endeavor buying TNA like Endeavor partnered up to buy controlling WWE. This is literally Endeavor providing a platform for Impact Plus to transition to their TNA Plus presentation.
Yes.
They have no, to my knowledge, ownership stock in the game. This is still Anthem running the company. Scott D'Amore is the president. They've got the same people on staff. So this isn't like the chairman of Endeavor letting UFC and WWE people run themselves still.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to make that clear, because
no, you're spot on, because I don't think I did clarify that, so you're good.
And there was some chatter in the chat room. I just want to make sure it was addressed without singling anybody out, because it'll be brought up later, I'm sure. So,
I mean, depending on how successful the platform is, I'm sure the opportunity could always be there down the road.
Yep.
But again, would that be a conflict of interest for Endeavor to own both WWE and TNA?
Depends how they break it down. And I say that because, again, the only reason WWE and ECW were legitimately kept apart is because of the nuclear meltdown it would have caused. And because my own view, nobody else's that I'm aware of, it was a Heyman pride thing, because he had been we're gonna do this on our own. We're gonna do this thing, and I hate WCW and I hate the corporate structure. Oh, but Vince can buy it. That's fine. Yes, no, it wouldn't have worked for the roster.
That's fair.
This is different world. Different environment now. And I think the people can see that Scott D'Amore will still run TNA, that Triple H and Nick Khan will still run WWE, that Dana White will still run UFC.
Yeah, we don't need another failed invasion story. Just keep it separate.
Absolutely not. That is so, Walter, I'm so glad you said that shit out loud. Like, I am not even kidding.
And
not yet.
It's been over 20 years. It's been over 20 years. Like,
no, I get that.
I think we could run that back and just do it right, because you've already got some of the seeds planted within the WWE infrastructure.
I understand that. I know, but I just don't.
You know, I mean, hell, you've got agents. You've got P.D. Williams and Abyss as agents that could play into this.
That's true. That's true.
You've got AJ Styles. You've got R-Truth, who's done fuck all for how many years?
I mean,
at least 12.
Yeah.
Like, this could be what really flips that switch and turns Truth back into a viable competitor.
I'll be all for that too. I love me some R-Truth.
For real.
I'm okay with the Forbidden Door being, the margins being stretched. I'm not okay with it being kicked off the hinges just yet.
Yeah.
You've got Nick Aldis as the general manager of SmackDown. Like, dude.
I understand that. I understand that. But if you kick the door so hard it's irreparable, and the people don't respond to it, how do you pull the reins back? You have to dip your toe in the water before you do a head dive. and I'm telling you right now, if they do an invasion anytime before the summer, there's gonna be no water to pull. They're gonna go headfirst into the concrete. I'm telling you right now. If they actually commit to putting the companies together on a television or pay-per-view presentation format and not just let it be for a while, there will be a... Hi.
We have a Greg.
We have a Greg underneath me.
Hopefully the only time you ever say that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Mommy's on top, not Jeffy. I'm good. No.
Well, that's my cue to leave.
Scaredy Bob.
No, I just wanted to pop and say hi.
Hi.
Hey, Greg.
We're talking about the TNA Plus Endeavor news.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Right? It's again, if you keep it as the news is, and it's just Endeavor's providing the platform, TNA is still self-governing.
Yeah.
I'm good. These two are scaring me with this. Let's do it. Like, no, wait, no, stop, pump the brakes.
No. I didn't say let's do an invasion. I said an invasion wouldn't be as horrible.
Okay.
That's the difference. I didn't jump and saying, ooh, let's book us an invasion right away, because the first thing I want to see is just to fuck with Tony Khan. I want to see a group called Wrestling's Elite Athletes. WEA instead of AEW, and have it be Punk, Pillman Jr., Jade Cargill, Cody Rhodes.
Arlene.
God damn it, that is going to be awesome.
Anyway, real quick, while I was here, although that the invasion angle makes sense because Triple H technically wasn't around for the last invasion because he was out.
Oh, no. Make your point.
But yeah, just want to say hi. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Want to say hi, plug my stuff. The Greg Cherry Show Christmas episode is going to be happening this Saturday, and we're probably going to be on open mic night later that night. So.
Oh. Well, that's good because I won't be on either one of them because I got shit to do that day. So that's good.
Open mic night is the karaoke one is going to be the 23rd, but that would just be a normal one. You're still welcome to join us.
But
the karaoke one is the 23rd.
Gotcha.
All right. The eve of Christmas Eve. That's the gimmick.
Yeah.
At least this year.
Gotcha. That was it. That was my cameo. Okay, bye.
Hey, who you pulling for Sunday Night Football?
I don't care. The Steelers are washed. I don't give a shit. It's Eagles Cowboys tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
Whoever gets me more fantasy points, because I have players from both teams. Hey,
okay, fine.
How about 4 Brandon Cooks touchdowns? I'm fine with that, because that can beat Sean Ross out because that's who I'm facing this week.
We're okay with that part. Then that's fine.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, bye. Have fun.
Take it easy, Greg.
At least somebody else showed up today.
That was random.
Like titles are Greg under me. Okay. Yeah. Again, Arlene made the point I was trying to make and not sound like a raving lunatic. A lot of the WWE universe and the general audience don't know who these guys are anymore.
That's fair.
And it'd be very much 2001. Who the fuck is Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare?
That's fair.
With all respect to both Palumbo and O'Hare, may Sean rest in peace. But I'm just throwing that his names pop in my head first. That's my main concern. Not that another invasion. It's like those kids and those unknowns in TNA will get swallowed up like guppies in the shark tank.
I'm all for mixing, like have a few one-on-ones, but don't do an overall invasion. Just hey, a couple of here's for the fans. Like here's a match, like a Taboo Tuesday style, and you get to pick which one. Like maybe.
I still maintain take the people that are in WWE now that have really kind of just like treaded water. You mentioned Ron Killings. My goodness. I still gladly remember the truth. I still remember 2002 Ron Killings and being like, dude, K-Quick's tearing shit up. I'm here for that. And I still say, if they just hold off a little bit longer and they put the Good Brothers with him, if they play AJ's TNA theme, I will lose my goddamn mind. I miss that theme to this day. So.
WWE owns a lot of the licenses that WCW and ECW once owned.
True that.
So what about resurrecting a pay-per-view like November to Remember or Starrcade and making it be that Forbidden Door styled show?
That'd
where
be
we
awesome.
can get some of those dream matches.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Speedball Mike Bailey versus Ricochet.
He made that.
You know, freaking, we can get like the Motor City Machine Guns versus the Creed Brothers.
Ooh,
At the very least, I'm just hoping the music gets better with this deal. Just give me some better music, theme music.
You know, the Def Rebel music isn't as bad as everybody makes it sound like.
It's not.
It's no Jim Johnston music, but it's not that bad. There are some serious bangers that I rock out to every time they come on in my car. Mellows is probably the biggest one I can name. That is a Def Rebel track, and you cannot tell me that as soon as that beat drops, you're not like, okay. Having that freaking Bohemian Rhapsody moment in your car.
They have some gems.
I'm the best, kid. You want your shot? Well, I guess you wait till next year. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's in my head now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, me too.
It's that catchy. But Walter was hating on them a minute ago.
No.
Now I got a track stuck in his head.
Some of their songs are okay, but a lot of them are just. And you know, I say one thing about
the Damage Control one is lame.
Yeah.
And it's not even when Bailey comes out and it's the instrumental. It's not that bad. It's the lyrics that are lame.
Yeah.
We got the power. We got the rage. Control the stage. Control the cage.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
It's like a fourth grader that just picked a bunch of words that rhymed. Like it was like rage, cage, page, mage.
And WWE is not the only one that's got those issues. Fucking Keith Lee's in AEW is so atrocious.
It's rough. Yeah.
It is.
There's a lot of rough ones, unfortunately, across the wrestling multiverse.
Dude's song literally starts out with "out of the frying pan and into the fryer." It's like, okay, we get he's a big black dude, but what the hell are you talking about here?
And it's like, oh man, like they screwed up. Oh my god, why can't I think of their names? Oh my
FTR?
God. No.
No.
DIY. Their music sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Arlene. When I saw Mello come out behind Trick, I thought it was about to be on and popping.
Oh yeah,
for a
real.
split second, but then they faded. I was like, okay, nothing's happening this time.
Me too. And off topic, I got so many matches wrong yesterday, but I'm happy. Like they do it. I sucked at predicting. I think I got 2 right, maybe. But I'm all for it.
My NXT and I
predictions day, but I ain't mad about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, cause deep down, I wanted Trick to win so bad. I just really didn't think they'll pull the trigger, so I picked.
I picked both those matches right. I'm here for Amy.
Yeah,
I felt like with the storyline progressing the way it was, like this was gonna be the reveal.
Hey, me too.
I'm starting to wonder if it's gonna happen at New Year's Evil now, so they can set up for the Vengeance Day.
And the way you booked it makes so much more sense now because he's got all the momentum, and the only person that benefited from his attack is him himself.
Mm-hmm.
So why not that he set himself up?
When did you know it was your time to shine?
Mm-hmm.
And ever since that point, Trick has just been on this. Well, Mello. Just saying, man, it's been interesting.
And you want to know how over Trick is? When he got in the penalty box, they literally immediately went, "Free that Trick! Free!" That was like, my God, this guy's over. Yeah.
That was good. All right.
Well,
good show.
If there is nothing else, then that just about wraps it up. We've done all of our short commercials. So I am going to run James's trailer for his uncle's video project, his documentary, which is about a 3-minute commercial. That will give people an opportunity to super chat any other topics that they may want us to discuss. And when we come back, if there's nothing on docket, then we'll just run through these plugs and get out of here. So we shall return.
Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. I was amazed, and I was looking to become a better skater myself, and I wanted to be like Gary.
When you look at a guy like this, he's one of the most talented people in his profession. He's been given gifts by God.
It can get frustrating at times when you're trying things that maybe don't come as quickly to you as other things, and you never really felt that sense of frustration with Gary. It was always about improvement and positive reinforcement.
Was it really the end? Was that head injury really the end? God has called Gary to continue to be a blessing to others and to be a passionate example.
My name is Gary Hebert, and this is the World Academy of Hockey, otherwise known as the Inside Edge.
I would recommend anybody that have a chance to come to his hockey school. I think it'd be well worth it. It'd be rewarding to all the kids and anyone he coaches, from whether it's an adult, a professional player, to a little kid like a Mike or a Squirt.
Gary, from day one, has been instrumental to my hockey career. I started out as a potential Division III player, and Gary brought me single-handedly through high school and into a top Division I prospect. I owe it all to Gary, the biggest legend on and off ice there's ever been.
Listen, watch, learn, be confident, and have faith. Those are the answers I was brought to. Yet, I only now am really learning how truly important those 5 things are.
Through preparation, through appropriate thoughtfulness and thinking, we can learn to untie the typical knots between our ears that drive us into underachievement and underperformance. And lo and behold, we can learn, I think, to fulfill our God-given potential.
Gary has the innate ability to make people not only better players, but better people. The life lessons they learn from Gary are incredible.
I can always remember leaving that rink knowing as a player I got better, or I had something to improve on to get better. And I think that's what you excelled on as a coach, is giving us the knowledge to know what we needed to do to get better.
there's coaches who know the game, but can you communicate and create passion in your kids and in your players? And Gary's able to do that.
Gary's got great knowledge and the great hands, but more importantly, his ability to connect with people and care for them. His communication skills, to me, really stand out, separate him, and that's why he's one of the best, in the world.
Gary's a legend. He's a special, special man.
And we are back. Just a few other comments throw up here on the screen.
Why does everybody want that? Can't they just both stay faces and somebody else randomly attacked him?
Why must there be so much desire for hate in the world?
Right.
Especially during the holidays.
Speaking of the holidays, we will get to that just a second, but make sure you follow me on the socials. Renegade JJ Williams on Insta, ROWJJ Williams on the Twix, Casa D18 Studios on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that is currently watching. Make sure you tune in every Monday through Thursday for the love of wrestling. My daily recap of the televised wrestling product. Mondays are the weekend shows, Rampage, Collision, and SmackDown. Tuesdays is Raw, Wednesday NXT, Thursdays Dynamite. Currently not doing Impact. However, with the rebranding in January, I very well may be picking that up and adding that to Friday. So stay tuned. Tomorrow, the dads will be back for the top 10 Christmas songs that aren't about Christmas. I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to give away songs that'll appear on the list. But just think about Christmas songs, and there are some out there that don't mention Santa Claus. They don't mention Christmas by name. They don't mention the birth of Christ. They are just songs about the winter season, yet they are played very heavily at Christmas time. Those are the type of songs we are going to be discussing. And then tomorrow also, we will be filming for air on Christmas Day because we're not such Ebenezer Grinches that we are going to go live and take time away from your families on Christmas Day. No, nay, nay. We are going to film it in advance. The top 10 Christmas songs about Santa Claus.
Yes.
And I do believe the poll is still open on
tonight.
Jeff's Twix account.
Yep.
You can vote for Here Comes Santa Claus or Santa Claus is Coming to Town. The fans will determine what ends up being number 1 and what ends up being number 2. We have ranked 3 through 10. But it was just too difficult for us to rank one of those and choose for number 1. So we're letting the fans do it. So if you are mad that your favorite did not win, it's only your fault if you didn't vote.
That's right. Midnight tonight. And just remember, like you just said, if you don't like the way number 2, number 1 went, Joe bad.
Yes, and big respect to Triple H for giving the entire company the week off.
Yes.
Immediately following the Raw on the 18th.
Correct.
They do not report back until the 26th.
That is correct.
So big ups for him for that.
We'll
Also,
be on Christmas Day too, the entirety.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, we will have stuff airing, but we will not be live.
Right, yeah.
In addition, tomorrow, Jeff.
There's too much shit to do tomorrow. Meech's Musings, of course. We'll be talking about what's to come this week and really what's to come for the rest of the year. And there will be a definite topic other than the general shills. I know it's become like the shill show on Mondays, but I definitely do have a non-wrestling topic that I'm going to get into tomorrow. So stay tuned up for that.
And it seems to be your MO as of late. You usually come on, you have something that you want to get off your chest, whether it's just a ponderance or a vent or whatever. You've got something that's been racking your brain and you feel the need to expunge it off of your shoulders.
Pretty much.
And then you get into the shills.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's either what's been grinding my gears or what's been making me jolly, one or the other. And tomorrow's going to be a little mix of both, I'm going to be honest.
Kind of like, why do we park in a driveway but drive on a parkway?
That's fair. And in either case, why do people park in a parking spot take out 3 parking sideways, you assholes? Anyway, especially at a retail store during Christmas season. Jack off. Anyway.
On Tuesday, make sure you tune in to Stat Boy Sports Bar. You can follow your barkeeps on Facebook, Dory Lou Hathaway or Mike Caldwell. On the Twix, Hathaway Lou or LB Statkid 1977. On Insta, Dory Lou or Statboy13. They will be on Tuesday, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern. Of course, the food is hot, the beer is ice cold, and the seats are warm. So pull yourself up a bar stool and engage in professional sports conversation with your barkeeps, Statboy Mike and Dory Lou. We saw him pop in unannounced earlier, but make sure you follow the Greg Cherry brand as well. Facebook, Insta, Twix, and YouTube at the Greg Cherry brand. And then, of course, as he mentioned, a very special Greg Cherry show this Saturday, his Christmas special on December 16th. Gonna have to make sure you tune in for that. I know he's been working on trying to line up some special guests for the show.
Yes.
Who he has coming, I don't know, so I cannot advertise them.
No, or cannot.
Just make sure you tune in and check them out. Yes. On Thursday.
Yes, Talk Wrestling, the show that has sustained me and strained me for over 16 years. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, across the multiverse, as well as on NoDQ.com. We'll be talking, I'm sure, in detail about the show the next day, which we'll get into promoting momentarily, but also what's coming up, as far as the wrestling goes. You've got World's End coming up. We've got the rebranding of TNA. We've got WWE, as they do, ending their year, and we're kicking off with Wrestle Kingdom and an amazing headline match that I definitely want to get into more and more as we get closer to Okada Danielson too. So Thursday night.
You talked about the rebranding of TNA.
I did. My goodness. It still boggles my mind, Jay, that this was 21 and a half years ago in good old Huntsville, Alabama. The debut of TNA, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, and with any luck, with a little less stress from SoCal Edison and the winds behaving themselves, we will get this episode recorded, and we will bring back TNA Throwback Thursday in the lead up to Hard to Kill.
And then on Friday will be our next watch-along, yes. Ring of Honor's Final Battle. That'll be Noah and I believe James on that call.
That's the plan as of now.
I mean, I believe I will be available for a tag-in if necessary, but don't quote me just yet. I definitely have to verify schedules and whatnot.
Well,
before I go making any kind of commitments to that.
No, that's fair. My usual Friday drive is negated this week because the boy is off school and with us for the first part of Christmas break, so we're good to go.
But make sure you tune in on Friday for our coverage of Ring of Honor Final Battle. Make sure you tune in to Datilla every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for her recaps on Rangers of Wrestling, recapping Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown every week, along with random Power Ranger videos thrown in there. every now and again when something comes up or she gets an unboxing video. Yeah. Still need to announce matches for Final Battle. So, true to Tony Khan, going to announce about 10 matches this week.
Yeah, Thursday night, the day before the show. As Tony do. God damn it, Tony.
Walter.
Any match graphics, damn you.
Yeah. On Twix, as Jeff likes to call it, I'm at Walter Alex Cruz. The Cal Fire Farms you can follow on Instagram and the Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel. The next watch along for me should be the 16th, which I believe is Leon Edwards. It's UFC Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington fight. So I'll be a little late on open mic night that night. But other than that, that's it for me.
At least it's the one weekend this month where there's not a major open, pay-per-view before my night on Saturday. Unlike this week, which was just too much, which is why we're here on Sunday.
Make sure you follow James on Facebook, James Heebman Hebert on the Twix, and on YouTube, J Hebert Side 95. You can also follow Noah and his Simple Man's brand on Facebook, Noah Foster, or on Insta, Twix, and YouTube in Foster 1916. Of course, on YouTube, you can go to the community section and you can find all of the leagues that he does for professional wrestling. A lot of them are winding up and ending for this year, but they will be beginning anew come January.
That's it.
Of course, be on the lookout for Noah. That's what I call music. Noah, that's what I call slow jams. And Noah, that's what I call Disney as well. He's not even here for the gimmick. But damn it, we got to get it in at least once.
That poor man. You talk about being the best announcer of the year and the MVP of this network. He's the most forgiving dude I've ever met. We put that man through some shit. For the love of the game, brothers.
That's right.
Don't hate the play, I hate the game.
You guys saw him last week on the show. Go give Gino Rivera a follow. Yeah, Gino Told You So. On Facebook, first name Gino, last name Told You So. On the Twix and Insta, all one word, Gino Told You So. And if you would like to book him in your local area for matches, interviews, whatever, Gino_Rivera at yahoo.com.
Hell, man, he went on here and told us so for almost 3 hours last week.
Right? Arlene says, I can't even pick on him today.
Right? I know, Arlene. It wasn't our fault.
And Matthew says, somewhere in the void, Noah is screaming.
With any luck, the man is resting after church today since he had it last night. I mean,
I just put
to rest.
I just responded to that. I was like, yeah, he might be snoring right now, not screaming.
If you believe in the deities, hopefully that man is resting, if not flat out friggin' sleeping. God bless that man.
Yes, and God bless him even more come December 23rd when it'll be time for our second annual Eve of Christmas Eve special.
Christmas time.
Oh, it's going to be a doozy this time. Give me just a second. Why don't you talk for just a minute, Jeff? I am going to bring up the wheel so you can see what I have done for this year.
What he has done to us is no doubt going to be torture, mayhem, shenanigans, and as an agent of chaos, I support all of that because there are Christmas songs, and see, we kind of went into this little tentative, a little wary last year because we were afraid of public domain. What we negated to realize, Mr. Williams and myself, was as long as the music's not playing behind it that's copyrighted by Phil and the artist or company here, we can freestyle sing whatever the hell we want.
Yep.
So all this shit right here,
what I've done to the wheel this year is I've divided things up into categories, and then I've thrown just a couple of songs on there. So you've got things like a country Christmas song. You've got Super Chatter's Choice. You've got All I Want for Christmas Is You. Modern Christmas. Female artist. Pop rock Christmas. Panel's Choice, where we on the panel pick what gets to be sung. Last Christmas. Classic Christmas. Male artist. And then it begins to repeat itself. Now, What some of those things mean is country Christmas. Obviously, it seems a little bit self-explanatory. You pick a Christmas song by a country artist. Pop rock Christmas, same. You pick a Christmas song by a pop or rock and roll artist. Male artist, female artist. Where I think people are going to have the biggest issue is classic, modern. How do you define this? Because classic, shit, there's stuff from the 80s and 90s being played on classic rock. Don't give me that look. I'm older than you, Meacham.
I'm not looking at you
my spine will curve before yours. So what I mean by this is I'm dividing the music basically up into eras. So anything pre-1980 would be considered a classic Christmas song. That's where you're going to find your Sinatras, your Nat King Coles, your Elvis, your Brenda Lees. That's where you're going to find your Elton Johns, your John Lennons. I need to double check Paul McCartney. I don't remember if that was 79 or 81. It was right around the turn of there. So I need to see where that one falls. But that's where you're going to find those songs. Modern Christmas is going to be from 1980 to today. That's where you're going to find your Whams, your Queens, your Mariah Careys, your Kelly Clarksons, some of those other stuff that's become popular in modern years.
I'll tell you all right now. This is straight from my eyes and my lips. If anybody out there pops into this stream on the 23rd, thank you, on the 23rd, and notably, audibly plays Wham's Last Christmas, there will be some shit, and you won't get to see Santa Meech. You'll get full-on Grinch Meech. Luckily for yo asses, we're pre-taping the Christmas Day episode. But the 26th, the 26th, by God, Statboy Sports Ball will be run by a mean bitch. If I get knocked into Whamageddon the eve of Christmas Eve, you have been warned. I'll tell you what. The Holly channel on SiriusXM nearly got us Friday. Thank you to SiriusXM for showing the name of the song before it actually starts playing. However, my dad, I know you're watching you're watching the football game out there, so you watch this back later. When I tell you not to turn the goddamn station back on until I tell you, listen. That goes for everybody else out there still in the game. Heed my warning. Avoid that station at all costs. Because they play that shit prolifically. They are evil.
As most radio stations do this time of year.
No. There's difference between radio stations and Christmas-centric satellite radio stations. That shit is evil. There are hundreds of versions of that song. Step up your damn library game. This is serious business. This is war, people. Survival of the fittest here.
Whamageddon.
It's Whamageddon, by God. I refuse to go to Whamhalla this year. I refuse. That shit is not scenic. There ain't nothing to do there.
I'm not in a game or anything, but please, I'm sick of the Mariah Carey too.
That one, that one's been done to death. Wham song, and there's one. What's the one by Ariana Grande? Santa tell me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those three songs can go into the Disney vault and stay in the back.
Oh, I like Ariana's. I'm not even a fan of her, but I like that song.
I did too. The first time I heard it this year. I'm on the 255th now. I'm done.
Between that and her and Adina's duet of "Let's Have a Hand for Mrs. Claus,"
that's a beautiful song. I love that song because Mrs. Claus don't get near enough love. So anyway,
that is the eve of Christmas Eve karaoke spectacular, and then we wrap up the new year.
Oh boy,
with episode 100.
Oh boy!
And I'm gonna let you know right now, the highlight reel may be a little light this year because I still have a lot to go through, and time is running out, carry and cross style.
Yeah,
So I don't know how prolific, how extensive the reels will be, but I will do my damnedest. Because last year, James did the highlight reels.
Right.
He hasn't really been around this year. So I've got to try to do my shows, work, have normal life, do open mic night, do watch-alongs, do homework, and edit and try and find stuff for highlight reels.
Yes.
So
You
I
use the gun to die.
apologize if they not as lengthy.
With any luck, if things line up the way I'm trying to get them lined up, and I'm still keeping this from the general public, but I am trying to line up people for that night.
Mm-hmm.
So the highlight reels won't seem as, oh, we miss them, because the cameos, not going to use the word cameo or the site cameo, but for lack of a better term, that's what they are, because they'll be brief pop-ins for people. Hopefully the people that are popping in to say hello and pop everybody, if you will balance that out. Working on it, kids. Working on it.
And yes, Safet, we know that December 26th, WWE is going to have a live event. That's why I said that Triple H gave them a week off, and the next event isn't until December 26th.
So when we are going,
I did mention that. So thank you.
He did. And when we go live for Statboy Sports Bar, they're filing into the Garden. Just remember my last Christmas morning, because the people in the Garden will hear my raging fury if I get sent to Whamhalla on the eve of Christmas Eve or before.
There you go.
It will be a thing.
That's going to just about wrap it up. If there's nothing else from anybody, we will go ahead and bid everyone a fine adieu.
Yes.
Walter, thank you for being here today. For Greg Cherry, who popped in unexpectedly.
Yes.
For Mr. Reliable, Walter Cruz. For the man whose name is on the marquee, Jeff motherfucking Meacham. And for everybody who is traditionally a part of Open Mic Night and could not be here for this brunch edition today.
Yes.
I am the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. Thank you very much for tuning in and joining us today. And we will see you guys next time.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.